Good morning. This is the Board of Appeals, Town of Hempstead, August 23rd, 2023, 9:30 meeting. Will everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Mr. Chairman, do you have any opening remarks?
Same ones I have every week that we meet. For those of you who have not been here before, the protocol that we follow is we'll call adjournments first, if there are any applications for adjournment. Then, generally, we call renewals, and thereafter we have new cases. The rules we follow are that the applicant will state their case. Thereafter, any objectants will have the opportunity to present the objections, and the applicant then sums up. These proceedings are all live streamed for anyone who'd like to watch them at a later date or today. We have a court reporter. The court reporter transcribes all of the proceedings, and they are archived. And I guess that's about it for now. I won't bore you with anything else. All right?
Sure.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, we do not have any applications for adjournment.
Okay.
We'll start with case 51323, Seaford, Massapequa Motors, LLC, doing business as Toyota of Massapequa. Renewal of grant to maintain one double-face illuminated pylon sign, 109 square feet per face, and overall size 218 square feet, height 29 feet 8 inches, setback 7.5 feet from Sunrise Highway, also known as 3660 Sunrise Highway.
Morning.
Sir?
Good morning.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Please take a seat, state your name and address for the record.
John Gentili, law offices of John Gentili, General Counsel for Toyota Massapequa, 193 Sunrise Highway, West Islip, New York. Good morning.
Morning.
It is an application for renewal.
Right.
The sign itself has been in existence for several years now. It's consistent in size and design, as is with other automobile dealerships also located in the vicinity of Sunrise Highway. This is a sign that is required by the manufacturer, which is Toyota, in order to maintain and adequately represent the brand. We request that the application be renewed.
For the record, the premises was inspected on June 29, 2023, and your client was found to be in compliance with all previously imposed conditions. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Nothing, Your Chairman.
Okay. Do I have any questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would just move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. You'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
You did a commendable job, Mr. Gentili.
Good to see you, Chairman.
Take care. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Next, we have case 51423, Levittown, Stephen and Diane Butchberger. Renewal of grant to maintain 5-foot and 6-foot high stockade fences larger than the pool installation area, also known as 17 Elves Lane. Mr. Chairman, there is an application for an appearance waiver.
Okay, there appears to be, is there anyone here on this case at all? All right, so there's no opposition. This is a renewal of a grant to maintain a 5- and 6-foot high stockade fence larger than a pool installation. It's a residential application. Consequently, we're going to grant the application for appearance waiver. The premises were inspected by the building department on May 30th, 2027, and they found that all previous conditions imposed by this board have been complied with. Are there any questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I would just move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. The applicant will be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's
Second.
rendered.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Okay, next case, Patrick.
Next, we have case 51523, Wantaw, Kathleen Cowden. Renewal of grant to maintain 6-foot-high PVC and living fences forward of the dwelling which may substantially obstruct the line of sight, also known as 260 Duck Pond Drive South. Mr. Chairman, there's also an application for an appearance waiver for this application as well.
I'm the chairman.
Hey, where's my latte?
You're not the chairman.
And I'm not his mother.
You're not. So this, too, is a residential case. There is no one here in opposition, as a result of which we will grant the application for an appearance waiver. The building department inspected the premises on June 8th, 2023, and found that all previously imposed conditions by this board have been complied with. As a result of that, do I have a motion?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. The applicant will be notified by mail of the
Second.
board's decision once
All in
it's rendered.
favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Next case.
Next, we have case 51623, Levittown, Diane Shopman. Renewal of grant to maintain 4-foot-high PVC fence forward of dwelling which may substantially obstruct the line of sight, also known as 29 Rope Lane. Mr. Chairman, we have another application for an appearance waiver.
Is there anyone here on this application in opposition? If not, the application for an appearance waiver is granted. The building department inspected the premises on June 7, 2023, and found that all previously imposed conditions imposed by the board have been complied with. Is there anyone who would like to make a comment other than the person to my left? If not, the person to my left can now make,
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be
Thank
placed
you.
on the decision calendar. The applicant will be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? Do we have any cases that we actually have to hear today?
Page 2.
I mean, there's a run on,
Page 2, I promise.
wow, okay.
Next, we have
Next
case
case.
51823, Seaford, Frederick and Catherine Kalachi. Renewal of grant to maintain pool and equipment not permitted in the side yard and raised brick patio surrounding pool with less than required side yard setback. Maintain improper pool enclosure, 4-foot-high fence and to 5-foot height required. It's also known as 4079 Darby Lane. And once more, there's an application for an appearance waiver.
Anyone appearing on this case? If not, it's a residential case, as a result of which we will grant the application for an appearance waiver. Premises were inspected by the building department on May 11, 2027, and the building department found that all previously imposed conditions have been complied with. Do I have a motion?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. The applicant will be
Second.
notified by mail of the board's decision once it's
All in
rendered.
favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Next case is a real case.
Next case, we have 51723 Hewlett, Ariella Wolkowitz. Install, replace a 6-foot-high fence larger than pool installation area forward of the dwelling on East Rockaway Road and located within clear sight triangle at owner's driveway which may substantially obstruct line of sight. Demolish existing fence. This is a rehearing of case 2923, also known as 164 East Rockaway Road.
Ariella Wolkowitz, 164 East Rockaway Road in Hewlett, New York, 11557.
Install, replace, why does it say that? Okay, ma'am. Ready? Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm trying to keep the fence that exists there since I bought the house in 2003. It's cover my property. If I have to move back, the shed will expose to the street, which is the main road. So I'm just asking to keep it where it is for the past 20 years.
And you were here on a prior occasion. Do you want to incorporate all the testimony you gave at that time into this hearing?
Yeah,
Okay, so granted.
Okay, but, so the portion of the fence that you want to keep where it is so that the shed isn't exposed, that's on, let me find your arrow here, that would be on your, let's see, the west, the southwest corner of your property.
yeah.
But the concern that I think one or more of us have actually pertains to the other, that same, the area of the fence that approaches near your driveway.
What-
So,
What is the problem with that? I mean, it's there for 20 years, I didn't have an issue. That's how I bought the house.
right, so I think, at least I'll speak for myself,
Okay,
a potential solution that would allow you to maintain the bulk of what you seek here today would be to put a slight angle on that corner. And the reason for that is that it allows any exiting vehicles from your driveway to be seen by pedestrians and other cars, and to see pedestrians and other cars.
Excuse me, Mrs. Demonic.
So we're looking at the Google Maps satellite picture of your house. Now, the reason that we have some concern about angling that corner is because it says here on your site plan that the proposed fence, which is in this case the existing fence, is 1.5 feet back from your property line. When we look at, so that would definitely warrant angling the fence. But in looking at, Mr. Pellegrini pulled up the digital satellite view, and it looks like your fence is set back significantly greater than that. So is the site plan wrong, or?
I have no idea. All I know is that when I drive, everybody see me, I'm exposed, there's no problem. It's way back, I have plenty of land in front of it, there's no issue.
Okay.
Could you estimate how far from the bed of the roadway that fence is set back? It looks like it's about 15 feet.
It's a lot, yes.
Okay, I understand.
Yes.
So when we approve cases, we do so based on the site plan. So we'll take whatever other testimony you want to give, but we can't decide this case with a site plan that says 1.5 feet. It needs to accurately reflect what you want to have, so you're going to have to update the site plan to reflect how far back it actually is, so that we can grant or deny it based on that. That is to your benefit.
So the survey will not be the one?
The survey, she doesn't own that land. Excuse me, do you?
Did I own what? Yes, yes. I own it because there were 3 there, and when I asked the city to permission, they say that's my property, so the whole grass is mine.
Do you take care of that property?
Yes,
You-
yes, I do. Landscaping and everything, yes.
Okay. Who created the site plan?
I think I did,
Okay.
but it's according to, previously, when I did the site plan, I asked to remove the fence forward towards the street. So maybe that's
grassy
the old
area.
one. But
Okay.
what I'm asking is whatever is on the survey right now,
Yeah, but if we were to approve what's on this survey at
Yeah.
1.5, and your fence right now is actually set back 4 feet,
yeah,
then if we find your current fence location acceptable, we want to approve exactly that. We don't want to approve a 1-foot setback when it's currently at 4, and then it gets moved out 3 more feet. So we can inspect it ourselves and measure it and make sure that in the event we're planning to grant it, we can correct how far it has to be set back.
okay.
Okay, so that the paperwork matches the real world.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, that's all.
If not, any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Ms. Wolkowitz, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered. Thank you.
Second.
Have a nice day.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions?
Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah, you're going.
Next, we have case 51923, Merrick Donna Wikramasinghe. Variances, lot area occupied, front yard average setback, side yards aggregate, construct two-story addition with garage below, second-story addition, open below, roofed over patio, and roofed over open porch, all attached dwelling. Alteration in construction in excess of 50%, new CO required, also known as 1828 Gildersleeve Street. Please take a seat, state your name and address for the record.
Thank you. Good morning, members of the board, Mr. Chair. My name is Mark Anthony Monastery, architect, and my office is located at 1563 Belmore Avenue, Belmore. And this morning, I am representing my clients, Mr. and Mrs. Wikramasinghe, who are the owners and occupants of the subject property. I would like to just submit 2 photos, simple. One is the front of the house how it exists today, and then another is a Google Earth shot of the block. Thank you. My clients have lived in their home for approximately 4 years and are raising 2 children and now finding that they are outgrowing their original Cape-style home and would like a little more room. Hence, so they are expanding on their home, which they feel is best for them, staying where they are as they love their neighbors and neighborhood. We are proposing on the first floor to convert the existing attached garage into a large family room and dining room, adding a new attached garage, expanding the kitchen, keeping 2 bedrooms for guests, for a guest room and a home office. And on the second floor, which is new, we are proposing a master suite, 2 kids' bedrooms, a hall bath, a loft area, a 2-story space over the family room, and a sitting room. With these additions and renovations, as we already heard, we do not meet several zoning aspects. Our first request is to increase the lot coverage from the permitted 27.5 to 30.8%, which is 3.3% over, or 247.5 square feet. This is all due to the front and rear covered patios, which combined are 527 square feet of open roofed-over space. Our next request is to reduce the average front yard setback for the garage, front porch, and second-story addition. Although the existing house sits at a front yard setback of 26 feet, the average front yard setback is 29.3. We would like to reduce the average front yard setback for the second floor from 29.3 to 24.5 feet. This is a 4.8-foot reduction, and this is only a small area to break up the second floor. The first floor garage, we'd like to reduce from 29.3 to 26 feet, a 3.3 foot encroachment. This is matching the existing house and not adding any additional encroachment. And lastly, the front porch from the permitted 23.3, which is the permitted encroachment for an open porch, to 19.67 feet, which is 3.63 feet of encroachment. I would like to add to the board that they would not require any average front yard setback request if it wasn't for the house directly adjacent on the north side of the property, which is set back to the very rear of the property, as all other houses are directly in line with my clients. And our last request is to reduce the side yard setback and aggregate side yard setback. As for the side yard, we would like to reduce the required 6.25 feet to 5.65 feet, a reduction of 0.6 feet or 7 inches. And the combined side yard from the required 18.75 to 15.45 feet. This is a reduction of 3.3 feet. We would also like to add that if it wasn't for the zoning change back in September of 2010, my clients would be conforming to both side yard and aggregate side yard setbacks. And I would also like to add that there are no open permits and no objection or complaints from any of the neighbors. That concludes my case, and I'll answer any questions the board may have.
Mr. Monster?
Yes.
You say that your clients live there 40 years, their kids are grown, or do they have children?
Yes, they have 2 children. I think one is 11, one is 14, and they've been there for 4 years.
Oh, 4 years?
4 years.
I thought you said 40 and the kids were grown. So,
I lost my voice a little, I apologize.
you know the first floor existing dining room?
I do.
What is that to become? I don't see it on the plans.
It's kind of like oh, I see. I'm actually calling out as 2. It's right now existingly as the dining room.
Right.
So where you walk in originally from that house, it's a typical Cape, very typical layout. Some people do that as a dining room, some people leave it as a living room. Right now, presently today, it's a dining room.
Right.
It's gonna kind of be like it's the sitting area at the front entrance. Then the new, where we're converting the garage and there's a small addition to the back of the garage, existing garage,
Right.
that's where the new dining room will be.
Yeah, I see the new dining room and the proposed family room, the garage. So they have 2 kids.
Testify that there's 2 children. How big is that? Do they plan on having any? Maybe they would have a big family, maybe they're Orthodox. Think. She didn't ask them all the children, the parents, or, yeah. How's the basement look?
Yes.
It's in it.
I could give you a basement floor plan if you like.
It's not here?
I don't know, it should be. A1.
And the attic only 4 and change.
De minimis.
Can you say that again?
The attic's only 4 and change on the height.
Correct.
What do you call it that?
Presently there is. Yes, there is. Shower, sink, and but that's been there. They didn't install that. That's been there since they purchased the
Entrance.
No, sir. It would be virtually impossible because the only side that would have access would be the south side, which there's not enough property over there because everything else is encased by where the garage is on the north side, the proposed patio in the rear, and of course the front porch in the front.
You had mentioned the 30% lot area coverage based upon
No, that was based on side yard setback. I stated for the September 2010 change, that it's over 5 and over 15, but because they're 75 wide, they're penalized to the larger properties. But this is actually just over 30%.
30.8.
Correct, sir.
You have anything to add, Mr. Monasteri?
Absolutely not.
Any other questions from the board? If not,
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. Monasteri, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered. Have a nice day.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions?
Thank you.
Thank you, have a good day.
Next, we have case 52023, Oceanside, Danielle I. and Heidi B. Ochner. Variance lot area occupied, construct addition and roof over open porch, both attached to dwelling, also known as 2890 Sylvan Court.
Good morning. Diane Powers and Bimbo, 769 Pelham Road, 3C, North Shore, New York, 10805.
Heidi Ochner, 2890 Sylvan Court, Oceanside, New York, 11572.
Morning. Go ahead.
Oh, good morning. I was
Morning.
waiting, I didn't know. I am the representing Heidi, the homeowner. I filed for the variance only, not the application. This is for proposed front yard addition to expand the homeowner's living space. They're redoing their kitchen, they entertain a lot, they have a big family. They need to expand their interior living space, so they're extending forward in their front yard slightly to move their living room forward to create a larger dining room and kitchen. This puts the lot coverage slightly over the required permitted 27.5%, and it's, with the proposed, it's only 31.54%, so we're seeking a slight, little over 4%, 4.04 to be exact, relief and approval for the lot coverage.
Joe,
It's not even a front yard, right?
it's on Sylvan Court.
I have a picture of the house if you guys need it. You could see there's plenty of space in the front yard, which is the only real place to do the extension due to their property and the deck in the back, which is the deck that's actually putting them over.
She's not even getting the front yard.
Yeah, if it wasn't for their deck, it wouldn't even be an issue. But the deck is what slightly puts them over. Do you want to? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Does she have any questions?
And that's not even from the street, that picture. So the front
50
yard setback is no issue, it's not obstructing anybody.
That's what
It's
she said.
not, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that your case?
Yep.
Any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. You will both receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered. Thank you,
Second.
have a nice day.
Take
Thank you
this
very
into
much, have a
evidence.
good day.
All
Aye.
in favor?
Thank you.
Next, we have case 52123, Point Lookout, MCD Rock LLC. Variances, lot area occupied, side yards aggregate, rear yard maintain addition with changing area attached to dwelling, also known as 83 Baldwin Avenue. Take a seat and state your name and address for the record.
Tina Pangallo, 549 Hempstead Turnpike, West Hempstead, New York, 11552. Good morning, Chairman and members of the board.
Morning.
I'm representing MCD Rock Incorporated, 93 Baldwin Avenue, Point Lookout. The property is located on the west side of Baldwin Avenue, 340 feet north of Beach Street in Residence B. We're requesting a variance to maintain an addition with changing area attached to the dwelling. The addition is approximately 8 by 10, and the changing area is 3 feet 9 inches by 3 feet 6 inches, and violates the lot coverage allowed of 27.5%. The lot coverage provided is 42.95%. The side yard required is 5 feet, and the side yard provided is 2.60 feet. The side yard aggregate required is 15 feet, and the aggregate provided is 5.2 feet. The rear yard required is 15 feet, and the rear yard provided is 14.69 feet. The side addition is used as a shed to store bikes and sports and beach equipment. There is no garage or basement, and the lot is only 35 by 60, so this gives him some storage space. The shed and the changing room have been there for at least 25 years. The homeowner did renovations in 2018 and also needed to file for a non-conforming permit. The renovation permits have been closed out recently. I don't know if you have a certificate of completion
Wait,
or
Ms.
if it's still showing as open.
1 second, Ms. Pangallo. I don't have a shed or a changing room before me on my calendar, because I was wondering why you need rear yard when you're talking about a side addition in the front. Am I just confused?
The side addition,
Oh, I'm sorry, I do have a
The rear
changing
yard.
area in the addition, but I don't have a shed.
well, they're calling it an addition, but it's a shed attached to the house.
It's attached to the dwelling, that's why. So we have the addition, which is the shed you're talking, okay, great.
Right, and then-
that other thing attached to the house is the changing room. Those are the two items.
That's correct.
What were you talking about, a side addition?
Oh, well, I guess that shed is that, because it's a side yard setback, I thought it would be
okay.
considered a side.
So that's the same thing, shed, side addition, and rear, okay.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so the construction has been closed out. I don't know if it's still showing as open on your search sheet. I would also like to submit letters from 3 neighbors indicating they have no objection to the board granting this variance.
So those other, the ones open that I think are the ones probably you're referring to, maintain construction, interior alterations? Is that one of the ones?
Yes.
Okay. And that's under, that you got a non-conforming?
Yes, and the only condition left to the non-conforming is taking care of this addition/shed and changing room.
Okay,
The other
and-
2 have been closed out.
And then the proposed alterations, renovations to kitchen and foundation, that's also closed now?
Yes,
Okay, and then
I have the certificates here if you
non-conforming
want.
dwelling with conditions, which is, you got the letter that, we have the letter here?
Yes. Do you want copies of the certificates of completion as well?
You can give them to, if
Okay.
you have extras, we might as well put them in the file. I just can't see the- Were these additions put on the house? I apologize if you said it.
He said they've been there for at least 25 years.
Okay, who's he?
The owner,
Oh,
the
who's-
homeowner.
Who's the homeowner?
The homeowner is a Michael Magnan.
Okay, and does he live in the house?
Yes, he does.
Okay. I just because I said a corporate name.
Sure.
How long has he had the house?
Let's see.
Like a year or?
Looks like 1983, according to the deed here. But I don't know if that, I don't know how correct the public records are.
Any man with the middle name of Cornelius should be granted.
Yeah. I like it.
Right? Any man with a middle name of Cornelius should be granted a variance
I agree.
on GPs. Must have taken a lot of heat on that one. Any other questions from the board?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Ms. Pangallo, you've been notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered. Yeah, like-
Second?
Thank you.
like a
All in
boy-
favor? Any opposed, any abstentions?
Like a boy named Sue, right?
Next, we have case 52223, Levittown, Derek and Alice Mutterspaw. Variance, front yard, average setback, construct addition, attached dwelling, also known as 179 Division Avenue. Let the record reflect, we have you assigned in for the previous
Yes.
hearing. Just say your name and address for the record again.
Tina Pangallo, 549 Hempstead Turnpike, West Hempstead, New York, 11552. I'm representing Alice and Derek Mutterspore as of 179 Division Avenue in Levittown. The property is located in the LPRD district. We're requesting a variance to construct an addition to the dwelling that violates the average front yard setback of 32.7 feet. The front yard setback proposed will be 25.91 feet. The addition will line up with the setback of the original house. The Mutterspores have 2 children in middle school, and the house needs to be updated, and they need more room. They will be enlarging the kitchen and living room and bedroom on the main floor, and there will be 2 bedrooms on the second floor. The lot coverage and all the other setbacks are okay. The addition is in line with the existing house, and we're respectfully asking the board to grant this variance.
Actually, Ms. Pangallo, there's 2 numbers on your front yard. One is 25.91 and one is 25.90, so we'll consider the 0 since it's closer, right?
Okay.
Just so you don't get held to .91. You understand?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
the original house is 29.90, and the addition will be 29.91.
Okay.
So, wait a minute.
That's fine.
The original house already approved.
Yes. They sent it for the average front yard setback because...
You're already at 25.90. With your addition, it's 1/10 of a foot farther away.
You know what I think what they do is if you're, yeah, but think about it. If your house already has a side yard setback, for example, and then you add more, you square your house off and your house is already there, you still have to get the variance for that piece to encroach. It's
Because we got to go with the average now, I guess.
because when you're in
Yeah.
a variance requirement condition already, if you add, like here, we're putting more house encroaching because it's out here.
Don't belabor
Right.
the point. It was a rhetorical question. Didn't expect an
It wasn't
answer.
rhetorical.
My question was rhetorical. Okay. Any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I have not.
It looks like on Google that there's a shed and also a cabana. Is that still there?
Let's see on her, let me see if she shows that to be removed.
No driving. Driving's car. Somebody will go and look.
I don't have her original plot plan that I would assume would have said that was to be removed.
No open permits.
It's a, what is it, a cabana?
Well, it looks as if it's a cabana and also a shed.
Yeah, she's not showing it on the plot plan. Let me see if I have any pictures in here.
Would that not, that might trigger more variance.
Ms. Pangallo?
Got a
Yes.
May I make a suggestion?
Sure.
I'd suggest that the board keep it on reserve, hold it on reserve decision. You pay it a visit and see, check the accuracy of the plot plan.
Sure.
And if there is a shed or or a cabana, then let us know what your client's intentions are to either come forward with an application if that's necessary or remove that. And if it's lacking on the existing plot plan, you'll add it, submit it to the
Yeah.
office and
Well,
Yes, I understand.
if it's there
Triggers new
and it needs and they want to keep it. When you add it, you're going to probably need to run it through the building department, make sure it doesn't trigger any other variances.
Yes.
Okay, and then
yeah.
get us the, get them to sign on it or something. Maybe Mr. Bogle can assist with getting that, I don't know what the time frame is. And then we can, I assume your client wants to add this.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I'm hoping it was going to be removed, but I'll verify that.
Any other questions from the board? If
Move the
not,
hearing
do
be
I have a
closed, the
motion?
matter be placed on the decision calendar. Ms. Pangali, you'll be notified by mail the board's decision once it's rendered.
Reserve
Thank you very much.
Katura,
Yep,
reserve calendar.
I understand. Oh, I'm
Said
sorry.
decision. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions?
Ms. Pangallo correcting my motion. We'll put it on reserve
Reserve.
calendar until we get the follow-up.
Next, we have case 52323 Point Lookout, Michelle S. Russell and Susan M. Whalen. Variances, lot area occupied, side yards aggregate, maintain wood deck with awning attached to dwelling, also known as 80 Belmore Avenue.
Michelle Russell, 80 Belmore Avenue, Point Lookout, New York, 11569.
Mary Riley, agent for the owner, 738 Smithtown Bypass, Smithtown, New York. Good morning,
Morning.
members of the board. I represent the homeowners Michelle Russell and Susan Whalen regarding the property at 80 Belmore Avenue, Point Lookout. This property is located in a Residence B zone. We are before you this morning requesting variances to maintain an awning for lot area occupied, side yard, and a side yard aggregate. When Ms. Russell and Ms. Whalen purchased the home in 2021, the old aluminum awning was existing. The house was in the process of having final COs issued for fire damages repaired a number of years prior. During this process, it became clear that although the awning was not included in the fire damage, there was no documentation of it in the town records. We are here in the final stages of getting all of this rectified. The awning was installed prior to the previous owner's purchase and was installed on top of a raised concrete platform. The awning is at the same setbacks at the platform and at 2 feet is less than the required minimum of 5. Side yard aggregate is 5.2, and the existing house and awning inclusive, and including that concrete platform, are at 52.1% lot coverage, and the required maximum is 27.5. This is on a 35 by 60-foot lot, as is typical in that part of Point Lookout. The entire neighborhood is non-conforming.
Did you say 52.1?
52.1, that's the existing.
Keep going.
And the awning is on top of that concrete platform, which comprises part of that 52.1. The existing neighborhood is non-conforming. It was built before the zoning laws went into effect. And in fact, during the course of our application process, we had to file for existing non-conforming status and received a letter of age from the county. This house is located on a street of similarly sized and situated homes and lots. We believe this is not a substantial request of the board, as it will not have any adverse effect on the neighborhood. The home is clean and well-kept, and to my knowledge, none of the neighbors have any objections to that awning. Be happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time. Thank you.
I have a question.
Sure.
So my calendar says maintain wood deck with awning attached to dwelling. It sounds to me like it's actually attached to a concrete.
I don't know why they put wood deck. It's a it's a raised concrete platform that serves as the entry point to the house. So the first floor is up above the grade by a number of steps, and then that's how you get into the house. The awning is over that raised concrete platform.
So so in the back, there's a wood platform on grade, but that has nothing to do
Has
with
nothing to
today's
do with the awning.
application,
That's
right?
just, that's, instead of grass, there's wood platform on the ground.
Right, that's what I wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
And then are the stairs go down on both ends of that concrete platform? And I don't know, maybe those are are those wood or concrete?
Oh, there's a wood platform underneath? Hold on a second, the homeowner's going to clarify.
Name and address for the record.
The concrete,
Did you already give your name and address?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
the concrete is the steps that lead up to the wood deck that is existing.
No.
Oh, the concrete is
The
only...
steps.
The steps?
Yes.
So if the wooden deck were torn down,
I couldn't
there
get
wouldn't
in.
be concrete under it?
No, and I couldn't get
Okay.
into my house.
So it is a wood deck with an awning, okay. And, but then, the one second.
Hold on. The steps at the front of the house, are they wood or are they brick?
They're concrete.
They're wood at the rear. That appears to be, okay. It's on a wood deck, yeah. Deck is wood.
The stairs need relief too, concrete stairs. They're in the side yard, and they're in the open water occupied. I feel like the stairs would need relief also, because they also are part of the lot area occupied, they're also part of side yard encroachment, you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
So,
but that's all in line. In other words,
I
the
understand.
stairs, it's a straight line, so that side yard
Yeah.
encroachment is continuous
right.
all the way back.
I understand, I just think we might need to consider making mention of the fact that they're concrete in any decision we have,
Okay,
you know?
but like the homeowner said before, if those steps are not there and that deck is not there, she cannot get into her house.
Yeah,
Because the front door
understood.
is up at that level. Okay.
If this, you have some open permits, and I would expect that if this variance were granted,
Those would close.
they
This
would
is connected to
close. Okay.
those.
Thank you. Any other questions for the board?
Will the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar? You will both receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered. Thank you, have a nice day.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions?
Next, we have case 52423, West Hempstead, Ray and Chana Sultan. Variance, lot area occupied to construct addition attached to dwelling, also known as 720 Crestwood Place.
Good morning. My name is Khana Sultan. I'm the homeowner at 720 Crestwood Place. We are requesting a variance for a small allowance over property coverage. I know the allowable coverage is 27.5. The existing coverage is 29.4. We're asking for it to go to 30.2, which is an addition of just 0.8%. You live there, right? I live there, yes. We're just squaring off this side. Oh, sorry, 720 Crestwood Place.
So you need a lot area occupied.
Correct. If
3.3 feet. I believe she just stated that. She said the permitted is 27.5.
Where was I?
The
don't know.
existing is
The existing is 29.4,
29.4.
and they're requesting 30.8.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions from the board?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. You'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered. Thank you.
Second? All in favor? Any opposed, any abstentions?
Thank you.
Cases 525 of 23 through cases 529 of 23, Belmore, Michael Passett. Special exception to construct accessory structure, pergola higher and larger than permitted, exceeds horizontal maximum and with lot area occupied. Special exception to construct second accessory structure, barbecue island,
Where's Dawn?
exceeding horizontal maximum and with lot area occupied variance. Install pool equipment not permitted in side yard and 4-foot-high fence along bulkhead with insufficient height enclosing pool. Variance side yard, maintain 4 AC units attached to dwelling. Variance is side yard, maintain generator attached to dwelling, also known as 3072 Lee Place. For this, yeah, we still swear in attorneys. You swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, take a seat, name and address for the record.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, council, Mr. Secretary. For the record, my name is Peter M. Rubin, R-U-B-I-N. I maintain my law offices at 330 Sunrise Highway, Rockville Center. If I may, prior to making my presentation, I have a blow-up.
Is it a blow-up doll? Is it a blow-up doll? Is Dave here? I don't know. We'll accept those in evidence. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's on the water. See the photos. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're asking this board for various relief in connection with an in-ground pool constructed pursuant to code. A history of the location might be useful to the board. This development in Belmore, which is located on the water, from a review of the records indicate that most of the houses in the area of Lee Place were constructed in the very late 60s to the very early 70s. Most of the plots are only 60 foot wide by approximately 130 feet in depth. After you go further south on Lee Place...
Can you speak up a little?
I will try. My voice is deep, so sometimes it doesn't come quite across. Most of the plots are 60 by 120, or excuse me, 130. As you go further south on Lee Place, the lots become smaller as the canal begins to infringe on the land. The applicant's house was erected and given a certificate of occupancy in 1968. In 1988, a two-story addition was added to the house as well as some interior alterations. In 93, a hot tub was put in place as well as a multi-level deck surrounding the hot tub. In 2009, another second-story addition was made, and in 2015, a 6-foot fence was installed, all done pursuant to code. The current owners, Michael and Gail Passett, that's P-A-S-S-E-T, bought the property in November of 2009. As to the specific case numbers before the board where we're requesting relief, the pool was built pursuant to code under permit number 22-13451. As to case number 525, the construction of an accessory structure, a pergola, the code requires a width and length of 12 feet and a height of 9 feet. I might point out to the board that on the notice, it says that 9 foot is a violation, but in reality, the code provides for a height of 9 foot for the pergola. So the difference is 10 inches.
Whoa. Can you do it this way? You're allowed 9 feet on the height, you're
Correct.
allowed 144 square feet, and you're allowed no more than 12 on each side.
That's
So just
correct.
tell us the height you propose,
The height is going to be 9 feet.
Okay, keep going, what's the square
And
footage?
the width is 1210,
Okay,
and the length is 19.8 inches. If you
Say
look-
that again?
19 feet, 8 inches. If you look at the rendering.
Hold
where
on.
the pergola is superimposed, you will see that the pergola matches the width of the pool.
Hold on. So the length of the pergola on each, the site plan's really hard to read because everything's overlaid. It's very, so I just want you to put the numbers on the record. So is the pergola exceeding 12 feet on both sides or one side?
Both sides.
Okay, so one side is 12 foot 10 inches,
That's correct.
and the other side is,
19 feet, 8
okay,
inches.
so I only have it down for horizontal on, it only says one side, because if it were two, it would say two.
Pardon me?
Usually when a structure, an accessory structure, needs horizontal maximum, it will either say horizontal maximum or horizontal maximum on both sides. On my calendar, it doesn't say on both sides. I will, so I'm trying to just make sure I get all the information you have. So you're allowed to have it, the size is allowed to be 144 square feet. Can you tell us what your proposed size is?
Looking from the north to the south, it would be 19 feet, 8 inches.
Okay, so I'll calculate it myself. Usually, okay, so it's 19.8
Yes, ma'am.
by 12,
10,
10 inches or .10,
12, 10.
which is 4/5, right? 0.8. So it looks like it's about 253 feet, so does that sound about right?
It's a little less because the length is actually quite shy of the 8 inches, but we rounded it out for the presentation.
Okay, because the reason is if we are inclined to approve it, these numbers are what we would approve. And if we don't have them right, then when they come out into measure for the certificate, it won't jive with what's approved. That's why it's why I want the exact numbers.
Should I continue?
Because I had,
My architect, by the way, points out that 8 inches is .667 inches. It's actually .667 inches. 8.8 feet is .667. So it lessens the coverage by a little bit.
right, so when we're done here, can you get us the exact number so we can put it on here? Like just multiply it, Okay, okay.
As to case 526, the barbecue island, code length is 12 feet. We are proposing 14 feet.
Only one side needs it, right? Because it's a barbecue, so you just
Yes.
need, okay.
3 feet of the 14 feet is used only for storage purposes and will not be used for any other reason. As to case 527, the pool equipment, there is no other location on the property, as you will be able to see from the overhead, other than the side of the house. The pool equipment is operated by natural gas and will not in any way affect the neighbors. It doesn't produce any noticeable noise. As to case 528, the 4 air conditioning units plus a compressor have been there for at least since my clients purchased the house in 2009. As to the air conditioning units, the setback requirement is 5 feet. We have a setback of 2 feet 5/8 5/8 of an inch. The generator has the same setback. The generator, as well as the pool equipment, run on natural gas. In the likely event of a power failure, the generator comes on its noise level, which is equivalent to the air conditioning noise level.
Does the generator, I have a natural gas generator also, so I'm familiar with it. I take it probably cycles once a week for half an hour, something like that?
10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay.
As to the I knew you were going to ask that question, so I had the answer for you. As to the swimming pool equipment, the setback is 4 feet, code is 6 feet. I am offering its evidence letters from each of the neighbors within the 100-foot radius, and especially the neighbors immediately to the north and the south, indicating that they have no objection to any of the proposed requests made to this board. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
On your zoning information chart, multiple items here are here for also lot area occupied. I know you know that. And it's 27.5 is what's allowable, which your chart does indicate. However, it says the lot coverage is 27.5 allowed. The existing is 29.30. And then under the proposed, it says the proposed is the existing with no change.
Correct.
But if you're asking to install things that need lot area occupied relief, then the lot area occupied currently will change. So I'm not understanding.
The only thing that's being added besides the pergola and the barbecue is the pool equipment, which is de minimis.
Right, but the barbecue and the pergola were both cited for needing lot area occupied also. So by definition, the lot area occupied is changing with this proposal, right? So I just need to know what the proposed lot area occupied is.
It would be as you have calculated, but
I haven't calculated it.
well, I thought
No,
you had.
I didn't calculate it. I'm only saying the proposed installation of the pergola needs the relief that you cited earlier. But in addition, it needs relief because it's going to change the lot area occupied. The same goes for the barbecue. So the lot area occupied, if this is approved, will be changing. But this,
It's still within code insofar if,
no, it's not, or you wouldn't have been rejected for lot area occupied.
I don't believe that was the reason for the rejection. I believe the reason was the rejection were the 5 or 6 requirements that we're here today to address.
No, you're correct in that you were rejected for the items you mentioned, but in addition to that, you were rejected on both the barbecue, the pergola, just the barbecue and the pergola.
The barbecue was rejected by virtue of the extra 2 feet. And as I told you, the 3 feet of it is non-usable other than for storage.
No, hold on. Okay, we can't keep doing this. Okay. For the barbecue, okay, let's start with the pergola. It needs a special exception to construct it. It's higher and larger than permitted, and it exceeds the horizontal maximum, all of which you said. In addition, it says, and with lot area occupied. The next one is the special exception to construct the second accessory structure, barbecue island, which exceeds the horizontal maximum, and with lot area occupied. So the building department has determined that the installation of these 2 items will increase the lot area occupied that your client wishes to have. So there will be a change. This is, obviously, this will need to be corrected on.
You are correct in your interpretation of what's before the board, but it's our position that it still does not exceed our requirements for lot coverage.
Okay, let me explain something. On your own zoning grid, the lot coverage currently is 29.30% in a zone that allows up to 27.5%. So it already exceeds the allowable lot coverage. Okay, so I'm not trying to be difficult. We just need the number. We need to know, because we can't just say, it's a little bit, who cares? Because then the building department comes out, and they're going to measure it and calculate it, and if we don't address the correct number, you and your client are just going to have a nightmare. I'm actually trying to be helpful, believe it or not.
I understand that.
So we just need to get that.
I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm trying to present to the board facts which will
Rubin?
enable the board. Yes, sir.
Your client is,
Architect.
the architect is here, correct?
Yes.
Perhaps he can testify to the accuracy. He's the one that drafted and drew this.
We can calculate the lot area occupied problem.
I think he knows it already. He just wants to
Matthew?
call him up and put it on a record.
Name and address. Maybe we could get,
Matthew DiGiamo, DiGiamo Group Architects, 566 Merrick Road, Rockville Center, New York.
what can you tell us about what the proposed total lot area occupied is?
The lot area is 30% with those 2 structures.
Just flat out 30.
Yes. The calculation prior, when you were calculating 8 inches, it's 12 foot 8 inches. 8 inches is .6667.
Well, are you telling me, hold on. Hold on. Are you telling us the lot area occupied of the entire piece of property with these two proposed structures? Or are you telling us the lot area occupied of that one that's 19.1 by 12, 19.8 by 12 feet 10 inches?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to just double-check my calculation, if that's possible, after the hearing, and then we can
Sure.
update the,
Yeah, we are going to need to know the entire lot area occupied.
Yes, I understand.
That's being proposed by the applicant before we can consider it, because that's how we
I
decide.
totally understand.
Okay, okay. So keep going with whatever else we need to add here, and then we're going to need the square, the size of that 19.8 and 10 inches. And then we're going to need the lot area occupied with the addition of the gazebo, the pergola, and the barbecue island, so that we are
I
considering
will
the
give
right
you
number.
the exact square footage of the barbecue and the pergola, and then I would calculate the lot coverage.
Total lot coverage.
Total lot coverage.
Okay, and we don't need, the barbecue doesn't need larger. So we only need square footage of pergola and total lot area.
That's right.
Okay, keep going then, if there's anything else.
Yep.
That's right. Then we'll have all the numbers we need to consider the matter.
That will go to the chair.
You want to just we'll get him one of the site plans, and you can mark up the grid there and initial it? Okay,
Can you do that now, today, this morning?
okay.
All right.
So just stay here after we're finished taking testimony, do that, and get it to council for the board, okay?
Kind of like detention back in the old days.
I'm sorry I stopped your presentation.
That's okay.
so go ahead.
Did I offer into evidence the letters? I don't recall. I
Yes, the
believe I
chairman
did.
accepted
did.
those into evidence.
Okay. Now, going back to my presentation,
Sorry about that.
as you can see from the renderings, the property backs onto a very wide canal, as do all of the houses
Well,
on
no,
Lee
give me
Place.
the exhibit.
I've already presented to the board pictures from a drone taken overhead last week and a rendering from a photograph superimposing the pergola. I would now like to offer into evidence a letter from Mr. DiGiamo certifying as to the sound levels, as well as a pictures of the decibel meter for the different air conditioning
We'll
units.
accept those in evidence.
Thank you. As stated earlier, the decimal levels at the fence for the property line are below normal conversational levels, and the neighbor to the south, as well as the neighbor to the north, have no problems with the sound levels. As to case number 525, the pergola, it's an open structure, 4 columns supporting the pergola. By virtue of the limitations of the size of the pool, my clients have the need for the pergola being the size becomes apparent. If you look at it aesthetically, it matches the pool and mimics the width of the pool.
I have a question as it relates to the pool enclosure, which I think was what you're talking about. We get this from time to time, the request for a shorter fence, if you will, along bodies of water. And the pool regulations are really designed to keep people out from getting in the pool. So it's reasonable to think a shorter fence would be acceptable on the water because no one's climbing up the bulkhead and into the pool, right? My question is, I'm looking at a rendering, I don't know which number it is. It shows a proposed glass-style fence along the water, and it shows what I think is an area to go down, out of the pool area to go, I assume, down to a dock. But it looks like the fence on the side behind the gazebo, near the gazebo, doesn't quite go to the end of the property, but I can't quite tell.
It's
Is
6 feet.
Is it proposed to go all the way to then, so no kid can come from the neighboring yard around?
That's correct, plus the fact there's also fences on both sides of the residence, which are 6 feet tall. To the south, there
This
is
is the worst site plan.
shrubbery and trees, as you can see from the photographs. And to the north, besides the fence, there is a natural fence. As to the request for the 4-foot 4-inch fence, in 2010, under permit number 10-1273, which was closed out, the neighbor to the north was given a 4-foot 4-point fence as of right and not having to come before the board. What we are proposing is to match the existing fence so that it's a contiguous line going across. We do have that. We have a 6-foot. And when I say 6 foot in width, yes, we do. We have that, yes.
Your architect is going to update everything.
Is 5 feet high, as per code.
Right.
With the respective gates with self-latching, self-closing. The glass fence along the water is 4 foot 4 high and returns 6 feet on both sides,
Yeah.
So it's enclosed.
fully enclosed. With a gate that goes down to block the ramp going down to the dock, the floating dock.
How far does the 5-foot fence provide a return? Like, is it 2 feet, 3 feet? Up before the glass?
No, it goes all the way down the property lines, the side property lines.
Right.
And
When
then it stops, and then you have another 6 feet of glass fence at 4 foot 4 high.
Okay, so usually what we need is the 5-foot fence coming down the side to have at least, let's say 2 feet of return at the acceptable level, because that's still a place where, from the adjoining property. Do you understand? So we,
No, the adjoining property, the grades are lower by 2 feet, almost 2 feet. So essentially, when you're standing on the neighbor's property, you have at least 6 feet before you could even touch the top of the fence, the glass fence.
okay. Keep going. Yeah.
When looking at the overhead photos which we provided as well as the renderings,
You pull the mic back to you.
sorry.
It's okay.
Looking at the overhead photos as well as the rendering, the neighbor to the south, who would be the one who might be impacted by the pergola, can't see the pergola by virtue of a tree being approximately 30 feet high.
I see that.
And then there's also shrubbery all the way along, which is on her property line and not on my client's property line.
And they're not here to object either.
And not only that, she has consented to the entire project going forward.
I think you've covered
Well,
all of
we
them.
will have 2 code-compliant gates on either side of the house, so there is no way other than walking through the house in order to access the pool. And finally, if you were to look at the drone shots, once again taken last week, you will notice that most of the houses to the north of the 6 houses not only have pools, but have, let's call them auxiliary structures It's hard to tell if they're pergolas or porches or enclosed, and to the south, we also have the same thing. Are there any questions?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision, on the reserve calendar. Once we get those materials back, we'll move it to the decision calendar, and then you'll both be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Well, I believe Mr. DiGiamo is going to mark
Aye.
up the site plan now and submit it to council.
Yeah, and and then we can, if those materials come in, we'll be able to move it to the decision calendar when we do decisions today, and then we'll be able to consider it.
Next, we have cases 530-23 through 532-23 Oceanside. Doreen McLarney. Variances, lot area occupied, front yard average setback, construct roof over existing decks, both attached to dwelling. Variances, lot area occupied, percentage of the rear yard occupied, construct roof over patio attached to detached garage. Variance, lot area occupied, maintain deck with stairs attached to dwelling, also known as 2964 Davis Street. State your name and address for the record.
Dennis Oliver, 924 Newbridge Road, Belmore, New York. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
Good morning, Mr. Oliver.
I am here representing Duran McClarney, 2964 Davis Street, Oceanside. We are seeking permission to maintain a raised wood deck in the rear of the property, construct a roof over that deck, and construct a short little roof over the front steps for the existing roofed-over porch, and construct a roof attached to the garage, which will basically be a covered patio. In order to do this, we need variances for lot area occupied. It should be noted that we have a non-conforming lot here. We're in a Residence B zone. We only have 4,000 square feet, where 6,000 is required. We're at a little bit of a deficit there. We're required to have 27.5%. We're proposing 40.9%. In addition to that, on the front yard, the average front yard setback for the block is 15.3. Our house is set back from the front property line 10.4. So we're operating in a deficit there. When we come out with the porch, we're only leaving 7.4 feet for a front yard. So that accounts for our front yard variance. For the percent of rear yard lot coverage, the max is 40%. We're proposing 65.8. That includes that roofed over patio portion that we're constructing.
Did you say 60 something?
60.8 for coverage of rear yard area. If you come out 25 feet by 40, that's 10,000, and we've got 658.
Mr. Oliver, so
65.8.
I have that there's two decks besides the patio roof. There are two decks that need roofs.
Correct.
Are they calling that front porch part of a roof deck?
Yes, that's what
Okay,
they're
so it's
calling
the
that.
one in the back, the one in the front.
Correct.
I mean, the one all the way back, the one in the front, and then that's the patio in the back, and then the back and front wood decks.
Wood decks.
Are the other two roofs.
Correct. I have a consent letter signed by
It's a lot of coverage.
6 of the adjoining property owners stating that they have no objection to these variances being granted. It should be noted that the neighbors most directly affected by this, the ones to the west and one of the neighbors to the rear, signed a letter. If I could find it in this mass of paper that I have in front of me, just bear with me a moment. Is it in here somewhere? Sorry, Gail. There we go.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at the photographs, and the caption says, "Construct roofed-over patio in the rear." From the photographs, it looks like that has already been constructed. Am I misreading something?
That is a portable barbecue cover
No.
that the owner will take down?
This is a portable,
Is it brown?
It's
Yeah.
6x6
yeah,
wood.
brown, looks like
Yeah,
it's wood.
that's over the existing barbecue. Once we get the addition constructed to the garage, that's going to come down and the barbecue will be moved towards the back of the property.
You mean, we want to put the barbecue on the patio that you're getting, the addition to the garage, are you referring to the roof over the patio that's proposed?
Correct. And actually, I have, on the site plan, if it's a little hard to read, it says remove roof over barbecue on there. I have that indicated on the site plan.
Oh, you're right, that is
Okay.
very hard to read, I see it.
I
Got
took
it.
that into account already.
Potential fire hazard.
Absolutely.
If the board were to approve the addition, the patio addition to the garage, would your client be agreeable not to enclose it? The
Absolutely, yes. If
open
that's
roof?
one of the conditions that the board requires, my client would not object to that at all.
Do you know where your client got that portable barbecue roof over? Because I'd like to get one.
I do not. I can find out for you.
Because it looks very substantial, and especially if it's, easily
Yeah,
thrown up.
yeah, it's very solid.
Have anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Oliver?
No, sir.
Any other questions from the board?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. Oliver, you will be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Thank you very much. Hope everyone has a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Stephanie? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention? Are you okay? Okay. We're going to take a 10-minute recess before we hear the last case, before the adjournments, to give the court reporter the opportunity to flex her fingers.
I just
All
can't
right?
see people.
Be back in 10. Great.
Next, we have case 53323, West Hempstead, 400 Langley LLC. Variances, subdivision of lot area, front width from and on street line to front setback line, lot area occupied, construct dwelling with garage, demolish existing dwelling, parcel A, also formerly known as 400 Langley Avenue. Also, we have case 53423 West Hempstead, 400 Langley LLC. Variances, subdivision of lot area, front width from and on street line to front setback line, lot area occupied to construct dwelling with garage, parcel B. Swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. Take a seat and state your name.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members, Christian Brown. McLaughlin and Stern, 1122 Franklin Avenue, Garden City. I'm joined by Mr. Nelson. Hello. Mr. Nelson.
Good morning, Barry Nelson, 220 Pettit Avenue, Belmore, New York, 11710.
All right, we're before you today on an application to subdivide a piece of property known as 400 Langley Avenue in West Hempstead, located within the town's Residence B zoning district on Langley Avenue. The subject property is currently a 100 by 100 improved parcel. There's a small cape and garage style structure currently on the premises. And under this proposal, we would propose to demolish the existing home and in its place to construct 2 new single-family dwellings, subject to all of the board's usual conditions for the approval of such dwellings on subdivision applications. And those dwellings would each be on 50 by 100 lots of 5,000 square feet each. So, as you know, that requires relief from this board, where 6,000 square feet is required minimum for a building lot and 55 feet of frontage. We are proposing 2 lots of 50 feet of frontage and 5,000 square feet. Each of the homes on the subdivided properties, as I mentioned, would be single-family homes, 2 stories. They meet all of the setback requirements to the rear, side, and front. We are also asking for lot coverage variances for each of the homes. As I mentioned, although they comply with all the setback requirements, they do exceed, as they're currently designed, the minimum, or the maximum, I should say, lot coverage. So each house, they are identical. Each house would have a lot coverage of 31.9% for the house itself. And then we're looking for an additional a couple of points that's attributable to the open porches that we are proposing for each house in the front. And if you count in the open porches, which would be roofed over, so they would go to the lot coverage total, each home would have a total lot coverage of 34.4%. Oftentimes, I'll advise clients to stay away from those types of variances, but here because the homes do stay within the footprint allowable or the setbacks allowable, and I thought the porches would add a nice decorative element. They don't encroach into the front yard, and they provide that sort of a little bit of open space, open recreational type space on each home, gives them a nice architectural feature. So basically for aesthetic reasons and for the ability to have a nice place to sit, I think it contributes to lot coverage, but it really is a benefit, not a detriment. It doesn't encroach, as I said, into any setback, and it should make the homes look nicer from the street than just a straight box. Each home will have a garage. Each home has a driveway that can accommodate 2 cars. You can see that clearly called out on your site plan. The area which Mr. Nelson will detail for you, it's Residence B, although there is some business district zoning within the 200 feet. It's 1 block to the east of Hempstead Avenue, which is a commercial strip in West Hempstead. As Mr. Nelson will get into in a moment, and as the board is aware, this is an area where there's a tremendous and growing demand for housing. So it is our contention, based on the character of the area, that the addition of 2 new homes of this size and character would be a benefit to this area, which does need more housing, where there's no discernible detriment to the surrounding neighborhood. The area does have some conforming and oversized lots, but there are also substandard lots on the map, including lots directly across the street from the subject property, as well as lots on the on other streets that are within the 200-foot radius, both to the west and the east, that Mr. Nelson will detail for you. And there's also some applicable precedents of similar cases that the board has granted, not in the 200 feet, but just outside it in this same area, that we think should guide the board's deliberations here. So that's really the case. It's 2 new houses on 50 by 100 lots, both of which would require the lot coverage variance that I outlined. And unless you have questions on the overview, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Nelson to give you the details on the nature and character of the area.
Mr. Nelson,
Yes, sir.
you're up.
I put my name and address on the record. I'm going to hand in some exhibits for the board to follow through on my, along with my testimony. And the exhibits include photographs of the subject property, aerial views of the subject property and the surrounding area, the Town of Hempstead zoning map, which can be used as a locational map as well, some comparable sales, and an exhibit that includes several pages of grants of subdivided parcels in the immediate area of the subject property. Beginning, as council
We'll accept them
mentioned,
into evidence.
the subject property is 1 block northwest of Hempstead Avenue. Hempstead Avenue is the main arterial road in the area. Mixed uses along Hempstead Avenue, providing everyday conveniences, businesses east of the subject property. The uses found along Hempstead Avenue will be professional services, religious institutions, some residential. The subject property is known as Section 35, Block 339, tax lots 8 through 12 on the Nassau County land and tax maps. The proposal is for the demolition of the existing house on the property, as the subject property is 100 by 100 into 250 by 100 5,000 square foot parcels. The development will be for colonial-style homes with a garage, on-site parking. The greatest side yards will be on the outside to the neighbor on the northeast and to the southwest of the subject property. And the front and rear yard setbacks will be in compliance as well. If you look at the radius map, you'll find just on the block opposite the subject property in Section 35, Block 340, on the easterly side of Langley Avenue. The development will include 140 by 100, 250 by 100s, and as you just get to the outskirts of the 200-foot radius, a 45 by 100, and the southeast corner of Wilson Street and Langley Avenue, a 55 by 100. In that same block, at the northwest corner of Hempstead Avenue and Coolidge Street, are 2 40 by 100, 4,000 square foot parcels improved with high ranch 2-story type dwellings. The subject block on the easterly side of Adams Avenue, within the 200-foot radius, you'll have 3 46 by 100, 4,600 square foot parcels. On the westerly side, within the 200-foot radius, on Adams Avenue, there is an additional two 40 by 100s, 4,000 square feet parcels. The exhibit that I've submitted with my other exhibits will include tax lots and the records of the Board of Appeals of other grants in the area. And that'll include on Langley Avenue, within the block to the north, and all these other grants are within 1 block of the subject property, on Langley Avenue, on Adams Avenue, and Coolidge Street. I highlighted those parcels, and I identified them on the radius map, as well as providing the grant cards from the Board of Appeals and Nassau County Assessment tax blocks with the lots identified. In fact, just to the blocks to the south on Langley Avenue, between 435 going up to 461, you'll find additional 40 and 50 by 100s, 6 of them between the block of Coolidge Street and the next block to the south, Roosevelt Boulevard. You'll also find on Coolidge Street, the southwest corner of Coolidge Street and Hempstead Avenue, just slightly outside the radius of 200 feet, but within that first block to the southeast, numbers 303 and 309 Coolidge Street at the southwest corner of Coolidge Street and Hempstead Avenue. That's correct, sir. And they are improved with 2-story dwellings on tax lots 210 and 211. They are in the business zone, but the requirements were to comply with the residential C zone requirements. 6,000 square feet, 50-foot frontages, and they were approved, constructed, and they've been developed, maintained, and they do not impact the quality of the area, the makeup of the area. As you see from my description, your radius map, and my exhibits, that the area is mixed in lot sizes from as small as 40 by 100, 46 by 100, 50 by 100, where 6,000 square feet, 55-foot frontages are required. That said, based on my exhibits, my inspection of the area, and the Board of Appeals file cards, it's my opinion, of other variances granted in the area, it's my opinion that the proposal of 250 by 100s, as proposed with colonial style homes, is not going to alter or change the essential character of this neighborhood, depreciate property values, or be negatively impacting the quality of homes in the area. The area has strong demand. Religious institutions, schools have been constructed along Hempstead Avenue and in the surrounding area. The property values generally are from approximately $485,000 up to in excess of $1 million to $1,250,000. The 2 new homes will sell for approximately $1 million each, adding to the quality of styles of homes, development, and property values. It's my opinion all municipal services are available to the subject property, including public utilities, available, and again, will not alter or change the essential character of this neighborhood.
Mr. Brown, question. So I have 2 sets of plans here. They appear to be identical, dates and everything. I'm guessing one was for each file. I don't have a case number on them, which is not your fault. But in searching for a case number, we discovered that the plans came in on the 15th of August in '23, which is very recently. I just want to make sure I don't even know how I can tell if this is the plans that went to the building department.
Yeah, what happened is, originally, they had proposed some encroachments in the rear yard and a basement entrance, which we elected to remove. The plan was revised. It did go back to the building department.
Did it?
The original notice had a rear yard variance on it, for example. That was stricken off. I think the staff can speak to it. It did go back to Mr. Montemarano, I believe, reviewed it.
So then the plans were changed to remove whatever was encroaching,
Correct.
and that was the cellar entrance?
It was a cellar entrance, and there was, I think, a small deck in the back that was causing a rear yard variance, and we removed that.
Okay, and did you submit the identical set of plans, one for each file? I assume that's why I have two of them.
As far as I know, that's what happened, and I know it went back upstairs, and the building department removed the rear yard variance.
Thank you. While he's doing that, Mr. Brown,
Sure.
we received one letter making certain requests, and which led me to look for the tree plan. When I look at the satellite map, it looks like the two mature trees, if they're actually on the property, it's hard to tell, that they are both in locations that they may or may not, they could be preserved, I think, I don't know. So that's what led me to look for the tree preservation plan that I think the building department, I don't know if they require, I can't find it.
Usually that is submitted to the zoning board before we come here. I don't know if that was done, but okay, I'm told there is a tree plan that was uploaded to the portal.
Maybe it didn't get printed. Can you tell me if you know if the main, that there's a mature tree in the back corner, left corner, if you're facing the lot, and there appears to be, I think it's on the subject property, and also front corner. Oh, guess what we've just found?
Shocked and surprised.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
That's the tree preservation plan.
Okay, so the trees are numbered on the map. I don't know if it's just my eyes. So it says tree, it looks like a 4, but this says tree number 1. Very confused here. So, zero trees to be planted, and then it shows. Wait, so, no, see if there's. Isn't that a tree? Does that have, that's a 4, right? So I guess, Mr. Brown, can you?
Yeah, I can show it to, my client is here, he can take a look at it too.
Yeah, here's my, because I'll tell you my question. This says, attached is the number trees, right? So this is tree number 1, blah, blah, should be removed in area 1. So over here, tree number 4 is the tree, and I don't know if that means 0 trees will be removed, or this means that tree will be removed. This is, yeah, so that's a 4, that's to be planted, but now tree number 1 is confusion. I think the two trees that, okay, so the rear tree wasn't on the neighbor's property. And that is the tree to be removed. But
I think it's, this would be removed.
right? This is going to be planted. And what's that?
No, the peak would be,
Right, and this will be,
and then that's just one that's referring to this.
oh, that,
I think it's just.
so now that's to be planted, because that,
Right.
okay, right. So the two trees that I get to see on the map that look like they might be in here are these two. maybe the two, Joe, can I see that thing?
What then?
The picture? Yes, because maybe the two that I was identifying right here, because someone asked about the mature trees.
This thing needs to be
They just said mature trees and bushes. So I looked at it, I'm sure it looked like these two might be on his property.
There you go.
Here.
Thank you, Joanne.
So, actually from this view, see, I couldn't tell if this was on your client's property. And the other view makes it look like the one back here. So if those two are not on his property, then the only mature tree is that one.
So it looks like we would be adding one, taking it.
Adding one here and taking that one down to regrade. Okay, then I think. So those two were not on his property. Right, you can see it on. Well, on this view you can, on the other one you couldn't. So which one are they taking? So the one that's mature and relevant that will be taken down to regrade.
Arthur Levine with that on.
This one, because there's one right here. That one's gonna be taken down, and we're gonna put a new one here. This isn't his. Maybe his land is right there, so he's gonna plant a tree here to replace the one that's still there. Why do they have to take that tree out? To regrade, apparently. Here's the, I'll give you the tree. Bring that to Joy. Okay,
Okay, that addressed the tree issue.
yes.
We're going to be removing a tree and planting a tree.
And the two that I asked about are not on your client's property?
Correct.
So it's not relevant.
Correct.
Sorry, Mr. Nelson.
Is that your case?
Yeah, that, I was just, as I mentioned before, the original plan did have a basement entrance and some rear yard encroachment. We removed that. We will accept all the usual conditions, no basement entrance, owner occupied on sale. That's all acceptable. And I just would emphasize again, as Mr. Nelson mentioned, and I think the board knows, this is an area that is developing, growing. There are religious institutions coming into Hempstead Avenue, which is right around the corner. So there's a demand for housing. It's an excellent location for someone who wants to be able to walk to the business district, walk to the synagogue, and it's a good use of the property, we believe, that doesn't cause any detriment to the surrounding neighborhood. So with that, we'll close.
We have a number of other people who've signed in. Does anyone else would you like to speak? Please come up.
I appreciate the fact that the plans, oh, I'm sorry. I apologize for not following protocol. My name is Stuart Goldhirsch. I live at 442 Langley Avenue, West Hempstead, New York, 11552. While I do appreciate the fact that the plans have been changed as far as not having a setback and some of the other variants change, the very thing that Mr. Nelson brings up about the fact that there are already existing houses, like the one that's being built, is part of the issue that I wanted to mention. My wife and I have lived on the block for over 20 years, and one of the problems is that there are smaller houses. I'm not saying that there should be super large houses, but obviously properties were subdivided in the past, and as a result, parking is a very big challenge. It's also a very big challenge in the wintertime to get through. And the reason it's a challenge is that every time you divide a lot, what happens is you end up having fewer parking spots. And I do realize the fact that there are going to be two houses and two driveways, each holding two cars. But one thing which was not mentioned is one of the cross blocks, Wilson Street, Wilson and Langley has restrictions for parking. You're not allowed to park there from 8 p.m. till 6 a.m. the following morning. In addition to that, there are just a couple houses down, there's also restriction on parking. It's the same parking restriction. So while there is parking for 2 cars in each driveway. What happens if the residents of these homes decide to have guests over? So where are they going to park? And it's already a challenging situation. And I think that, with all due respect to the gentleman who spoke and to the board, it's very different speaking about hypotheticals as opposed to someone who's lived on the block for over 20 years. It is a very big challenge currently with the existing houses to be able to get through in the wintertime. I've had a detour. I live on Langley. I don't live near the house. I mean, I live about a block away, but it's very difficult. And I would like to see, you know, some of the people present, with all due respect, try to drive through that block as is. So when you're going to have 2 houses there, there's going to be at least 1 or 2 fewer parking spots. And then if each house has guests, and let's say sleepover guests, it's going to make it even more difficult. And I am in favor, you know, of the fact that the owner of the home is trying to beautify the neighborhood. I think that's terrific. But I think that a better thing, and I realize that it's an economic decision to build 2 houses, but I think a better thing, which would be a fairer compromise, would be to take the existing lot and build 1 large house. And yes, while they won't get $2 million for 1 large house, they may be able to get close to that, to have 1 large house and possibly even have a circular driveway. I'm not telling them how to build a house, but I'm just saying that it's very nice when people come in, buy a house, build, and then they don't live on the block. So it's not, they have no stake in what's going, they're not shareholders in what's going on in the block. They sold their house and then they're done. And I thank you for your time, and have a good day, everyone. Welcome.
Mr. Brown? Oh, hold on. Someone else would like to speak. Come up, sir.
Yes. My name is Kurian Medail. I strongly urge the, excuse me? 485 Nassau Boulevard, West Hempstead.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I strongly urge the building board to approve this plan. There's no parking violation, parking restrictions in the area. Living in the area for 36 years, and I strongly urge the building board to approve the plan. Thank you.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to sign in, okay? I don't think you signed in.
Okay. Sign in,
I don't
please.
see the address. All right, just make sure you're signed in so you get a copy of the decision once it's rendered.
Anyone else? Would anyone else like to speak? If not, Mr. Brown, you're up.
Thank you. I'll
Can I see it?
just close by saying that I think the parking restrictions that were mentioned are really for the benefit of the residential area because it's proximate to the business district, and I think, as Mr. Nelson is pointing out to me, that's probably driven by you know, the desire not to have customers from the business district spill over onto the residential streets. Parking is always an issue. It comes up on many of these subdivision cases. As you know, it's a balance the board has to strike. We try to design these homes to have sufficient off-street parking. Both of these houses do have parking pads that can accommodate 2 cars, plus each has an internal garage. And so that, we think that's a fair design that, you know, for houses of these sizes, that they should easily be able to accommodate their cars on a regular basis. So with that, we would rest on the record and ask you to adopt the findings that last witness gave.
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Everyone here who signed in on the matter will receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered. Thank you all for coming and being patient and participating. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Aye.
Bye-bye.
Next, we have cases 47123 through 47223, Belmore, Helene and Gavin Power. Variance, side yard, maintain 2 AC units attached to dwelling. Special exception to construct accessory structure, pavilion, higher and larger than permitted and exceeds horizontal maximum on both sides, also known as 2311 Center Avenue. Ms. McGallett, we have you signed in, sworn in from earlier, just your name and address for the record.
Tina Pengallo, 549 Hempstead Turnpike, West Hempstead, New York, 11552. Hello again. I'm representing Helene and Gavin Power of 2311 Center Lane in Belmore, Center Avenue, in Belmore. The property is located on the east side of Center Avenue, 79 feet south of Clarendon Avenue in Residence B. We're requesting a variance to construct a pavilion higher and larger than permitted and exceeds the horizontal maximum allowed on both sides. The maximum length and width allowed is 12 by 12, and the proposed length and width would be 14.6 by 16.8. The maximum square footage allowed is 144 square feet, and the square footage proposed is 224 square feet. The maximum height allowed is 9 feet, and the height proposed is 12 feet. The property is 55 by 100, and there's an existing in-ground pool. If it's still open on your search, it has been closed out. I have a certificate of completion for that. The pavilion will be used as an entertainment and a comfortable place to sit while entertaining at the pool. We're also requesting a variance to maintain AC units in the side yard. The side yard required is 5 feet, and the side yard provided is 2.7 for the larger AC condensers and 4.1 for the split unit. And we're respectfully asking the board to grant these variances. No.
Move the hearing be closed. Oh, sorry.
Is the cellar entrance, does that have a building permit? The rear?
Yes, I believe it does. Let me see what the number is for that. Yeah, 20-9984.
And is that closed out? Do you know, you have your search?
Yes, that's all, yes, that's closed out. The pool is also closed out. I don't know if that's showing on your search.
And the shed that is going to be removed?
Yes.
Any other questions?
I have no further questions, Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, then I would move that the hearing be closed and the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Ms. Pengallo, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Aye. This is old case. This is new case. I mean, this is old, this is older.
Finally, we have cases 47523 through 47623 near Westbury.
subdivision.
Pedro A. Plaza and Susan M. Plaza, mother-daughter residence, second kitchen. Variance, side yard, construct second-story addition and garage conversion to living space attached to dwelling, also known as 2 Melody Lane.
Morning. Michael Lipinski, representing Jared Mendel Architect PC, 25 Hillside Avenue, Williston Park, New York, 11596. Okay, I guess, if you want to speak.
Good morning, Tanya Plaza, 2 Melody Lane, Westbury, New York, 11590.
Good morning, Susan Plaza, 2 Melody Lane, Westbury, New York, 11590.
So, yes, we're here representing 2 Melody Lane, that's on the northwest corner of Melody Lane and Land Lane. I'm here representing Pedro and Susan Plaza. What we're proposing is a second-story addition for a proposed mother-daughter living situation, interior alterations, that is a garage conversion, and a front portico. It does create a couple variances. The first one is the side yard setback. The allowable is 5 feet. What we are proposing is 4.66 feet, to the second-story addition, and also the mother-daughter application to allow a secondary kitchen on the second floor. They're accommodating for their daughter Tanya Plaza and her granddaughter, who is 14 years old, to live on the second floor of the dwelling. The homeowners, Susan and Pedro, are getting older, and they feel like they would benefit from their daughter living in the home moving forward. When speaking with the family about the project, they needed the project to be as least intrusive to their own living situation, given their age and their health conditions. With the size of the existing second floor of the Levitt house, the only viable way to get the space they needed was to extend the second floor to the south. The existing property and house location, sorry.
You're going to do a second floor over the existing garage, or not?
Correct.
All right, so will the ridge line remain the same
No, we're proposing a new ridge.
for the whole house?
The whole distance above the garage? I don't have elevations, so I can't.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
So, let's hold this up.
This should
So
be
I'm
a-
going to hold up this photograph. So you're
Okay.
saying this ridge is going to continue to here?
Correct. Correct, yes.
Is it going to be a new ridge on the, are you going to replace the existing ridge over the house?
The roof is going to be ripped off the house, yes, and then a new ridge is going to be, a new roof system is going to be designed, correct.
How much elevation or more is it going to go up? Do you have elevation plans there?
I do, yes.
Oh, can I have elevations?
I have my set, which you can look at.
If I look at them, I need to keep them for the file. So we'll,
I don't know why they don't do it.
They're on actually the next page. That's the roof plan. So what you're seeing is essentially the full set of construction documents. That's the roof plan, and then the elevations.
yeah, that'd be good. Oh, is this house in the flood zone?
No.
So I'm going to be away the 1st. The 7th or the 17th. I think he already testified as to who was going to be living where.
Okay. Did you provide your clients and have you reviewed their conditions that pertain to having a mother-daughter?
The mother-daughter fact
grant?
sheet.
Sorry, say that one
The
more time.
mother-daughter fact sheet, in that, it must continue to appear as a one-family dwelling.
Correct, yes.
1 meter and et cetera. and
Exactly,
one-
correct,
One
yep.
doorbell, and in the event that they choose not to occupy the property, the mother-daughter variance cannot be passed on to anyone else. You're aware of that?
One doorbell, one entrance.
They're an understanding, yes, correct.
Okay. So every time we have a mother-daughter immediate family application. The Board of Architectural Review reviews it to determine whether or not it's suitable to be used that way and whether or not it is suitable to be reverted back upon the cessation of the use. They make certain recommendations. In your case, they've determined that it is suitable to be used as a mother-daughter residence, and it is suitable to be, it lends itself to being reverted back to a single-family dwelling upon the cessation of the use. They do note that there shall be no illegal occupancy in the cellar. So you folks understand that?
There's it's a slab on grade, there's no cellar on the house.
Okay, they noted. How many cars can you park off the street, since I know you're asking to get rid of the garage?
There's 2 off-street parking spaces.
Is there parking on street allowable?
Yes.
How many
How many
cars do you
cars?
have?
They have 2 cars.
Okay.
Anything else?
And then I would just also say, I think we also submitted in that mother-daughter application, we submitted drawings for the conversion. The reversion plan, exactly, correct, yep.
Any other questions from the board? If
Move
not,
the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Everyone who signed in on the case will receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered. Thank you.
Second.
Long day, sorry you had to wait so long.
Best for last. All right.
Bye.
All in favor? Do I have a motion to close the hearing?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to recall case 525 through 521, Michael Passett, Belmore, special exception to construct accessory structure, pergola, higher and larger than permitted, exceeds horizontal maximum and with lot area occupied, special exception to construct second accessory structure, barbecue island, exceeding horizontal maximum and with lot area occupied variance, install pool equipment not permitted in side yard and 4-foot-high fence along bulkhead with insufficient height enclosing pool, variances, side yard, maintain 4 AC units attached to dwelling, variance, side yard, maintain generator attached to dwelling, known as 3072 Lee Place. The architect resubmitted Exhibit 1, which is a site plan of the subject property. The proposed lot coverage is 32.55%, increased from 29.3%, which is existing. I just wanted to add it to the record, and then we can close the hearing because it was currently put on reserve.
Do I have a motion? Anyone?
Close the hearing.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Do I have another motion to close the morning calendar?
Move we close the morning calendar, Mr. Chairman.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? I think we'll do decisions after a 5-minute break. Pardon? Which we're denying it anyway, who cares?
What?
Can-
Yes.
Can we make some decisions?
Yep.
Okay, rather than chatting. All right, so first case, 513 of 2023, Massapequa Motors. Do I have any discussion from the board? That one, oh. I'll speak, that was a renewal.
Yeah.
Any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I move case 513 of 23 Seaford, Massapequa Motors at 3660 Sunrise Highway be approved as requested with...
Same conditions?
Yeah.
5 years.
Yes.
And the usual fence conditions. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention? 514 of 2023, Levittown, Stephen and Diane Bookberger. Application,
starting already.
appearance waiver was granted. Do I have any opinions or comments from any of the board members? And if
No.
not, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that case 514, 2023 in Levittown, affecting the property at 17 Elves Lane, as you previously described it, be approved as requested, same conditions, 5 years.
Second.
Second that
All in
motion.
favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Next case, 515 of 2023, Wantor, Kathleen Cowden. Do I have any discussion from any of the board members? If not, do I have a motion?
I move that case 515, 2023, Kathleen Cowden at 260 Duck Pond Drive South in Wantor be granted as requested for the same term,
Second.
5 years.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? By the way, an appearance waiver was granted on that one as well. Next appearance waiver, 516 of 2023, Diane Shopman. Do I have any discussion from any of the board members? And if not, do I have a motion?
I move case 516 of 2023, location 29 Rope Lane, Levittown, be granted as requested. All fence conditions, 5 years.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Next application for an appearance waiver, which was granted, case 518 of 2023, Frederick and Catherine Kalachi.
Good job.
I tried. Do I have any discussion? If not, any questions? If not, do I have a motion?
I move case 518 of 23 in Seaford, Frederick and Catherine Kalachi at 4079 Darby Lane be approved as requested with normal conditions.
Do I have a second?
Can you just clarify the 4-foot fence?
The what?
Normal fence condition. This is the one for 4-foot-high fence on
I guess
the,
they met all the conditions.
on the water.
I know, but I... Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? First real case. 517 of 2023, Hewlett Ariella Wolkowitz. I think, did someone want to inspect that?
Before we do that, I think Mr. Bogle has had a conversation with the applicant.
So they went down to the zoning board and they submitted, or at least they pulled up the survey. The setback is not 1.5 feet to 2.1. It actually runs, I think it's like 6.3 all the way to 8.5. So the fence is set back from the property line up to 8.5 feet, as well as the 15-foot grass barrier that leads the road.
Okay, so what's the property line setback? Let's just use...
It runs, at its furthest point, it's 8.1. It says up here, it's 8.1. Down here, the survey doesn't show the, it doesn't show the measurement there on the survey, but the survey shows this is 8.1 at the furthest point up here.
Okay, I wish we had another number, because it's not the same, but I think we can articulate.
I think we should resubmit a site plan that matches the survey.
Yeah, well, honestly, I don't even know that we need to inspect it now that we have this information, provided, well, okay, we just need, so let's just hold this case, let's get a
Pending
new
amended site
survey,
plan.
amended site
Site
plan
plan.
with the accurate numbers, and then we'll take it up when we get that. Because I think it's gonna be fine, we just need the documentation accurate first.
Case 519 of 2023, Merrick Donna Wickram Singh, and I've never seen it spelled that way. I've never seen
Yeah,
that,
I have
that
a-
name before. Ram Singh is a West Indian name. Wickram Singh with an E on the end is something rather unusual. Donna Wickram Singh. Either that or I'm mispronouncing it. In any event,
No, you
is there
said it right.
Any discussion?
No.
If not, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman. Case 519 of 2023, affecting the property at 1828 Gildersleeve Street in Merrick. That we grant the application as requested.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention? I thought you were going to refer to Gianelli Avenue, because you can actually pronounce that, although you did a fairly good job. Gildersleeve.
some abuse here from this chairman.
Next case, 520 of 2023, Daniel I. and Heidi B. Ochner. Go right ahead. Go for the gold. Do I have a discussion? Any questions, any discussion from the board members? If not, do I have a motion?
I move that case 520-2023 at Oceanside, Daniel and Hildy Oxman at 2890 Sylvan Court be granted as requested.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Okay. Next case, 521 of 2023, Point Lookout, MCD Rock LLC. Do I have any discussion from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I move,
Changing room, was there some comment on changing room, Mrs. D?
Oh, no, I think it's okay. It was non-compliant.
No,
It was
it's
a little
okay.
confusing the way it was worded. I think I know why the building department did it that way, because it was attached to the dwelling. Remember, she was calling it a shed, a changing room, it's like a little shower, and it's attached, so it's an English word.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I move case 521 of 2023, location 83 Baldwin Avenue, Point Lookout, be granted as requested.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Next case, 522 of 2023, Levittown, Derek and Alice Muderspaw.
For some reason, I
That
have that on
case
reserve.
Me
is
too,
on
I said
reserve
hold on reserve.
for awaiting submission of an accurate plot plan.
So 517 and 522 go to reserve.
Very good.
I'm going to do my colors and numbers next week.
All right. Case 523 of 2023, Point Lookout, Michelle S. Russell and Susan M. Whalen. Do I have, this is the awning
Yeah,
case,
I have-
maintenance of the awning case.
If we're inclined to approve it, Mr. Bogle, I feel like, I feel like we should it says the awning is on top of a wood deck, which apparently ultimately was accurate, but there are concrete stairs that come down, and that, I think there should be some mention made in the decision that those are included in our grant, because they would have similar side yard encroachments.
Yes, so we just maintain wood deck with concrete stairs.
And there's
then
two
drive
set.
the Whereas testimony revealed that.
Yeah.
the Ingress and egress onto the wood deck is.
Yeah.
Yeah. we
I
just-
don't want them to have trouble if someone goes out there and they have these concrete steps that also need side yard, potentially side yard aggregate, and that's not in the wood deck approval.
Okay.
So that having been said, I guess I'll just make a motion.
That'd be a nice second.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I would move that case 523 of 2023 in Point Lookout affecting the property at 80 Belmore Avenue be approved as requested with the added language that was just discussed by the board.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions?
Okay.
Cases 525 through 520.
Yeah, 524.
I move 524 of 2023, located 720 Crestwood Place, West Hempstead, be granted as requested.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention? Cases 525 through 529 of 2023, Belmore Michael Passett. Do I have any discussion? I thought, I have that marked as being on reserve.
Where they gave us the information.
Okay.
So one thing I do want to say, and then I'll make a motion, I would like to articulate some amount of, I can't go out and judge the change in grade. I'm sure it must be different. I don't know if it's on both sides. But when the 6-foot fence comes down both sides of the property toward the body of water, I would like at least the 6 foot to return, let's say, even if it's just a foot or something, so that we don't have an area that, like right next to the land here, that someone can get in easily. I may not be a huge deal, but I would like at least, I don't know what the board members think in terms of a return. Is 1 foot enough? Do we make it 2? And then they can have the 4.6 or whatever it is?
Did he not say it was a 5-foot fence along the sides?
Going down.
Along the sides.
Yeah. But then so it goes like this. There's land here, land
Right,
here.
right.
They want 4 something here.
Right.
I just want the
That's the water.
5 to be like a foot here and a foot here so people can't, do you know what I'm saying? I just like it to be at the 5. Right, I just,
Decisions with that exact language.
Okay.
Also,
the one that I'm asking
yeah,
for? Okay.
to maintain a certain portion that needs to be
At
at a
the
certain
hi-
height.
at
and
the
then
end.
we also explain why we're permitting the 4 foot on both.
Yeah, because it's not to protect people from getting out.
But the portion of the fence that's perpendicular to the bulkhead, that will be 5 feet.
It is.
Well, that'll be 5, and they're gonna wrap a 5 around for whatever we've done in the past, like a foot.
I don't think we ever did anything.
He says he has the language.
There was one case in which we did something very, very similar to that, where the portion, I don't know how much fence we required.
Yeah.
There's a portion of the fence that runs at a 90-degree angle from the side yard fences, and that portion will be 1 foot, 2 foot, whatever you guys
Okay.
want. Must be maintained at 5 feet or the same height as the fence is running along.
Yeah, just so it's got that one little
Yeah, it was
wrap.
maybe a year and a half ago.
So the bulkhead is 4 feet, and then the perpendiculars to that?
No.
Perpendicular is 5, we also want to put a little foot here.
Like this
and here,
shows.
so they can't-
Right here, this like a foot of the higher, right here, and then they can put their whole 4.
Okay,
Just so that people on this land,
yes, can
just, it's
roller
more
skate over
responsible.
to it.
Okay, that, what's that? That being said, as it relates to cases 525 of 2023 through 520.
Excuse me, and the applicant also, the architect updated and
Oh, yeah, I'm
initialed
sorry.
the changes.
I put that on the
in it,
record, but if you guys want to.
And that's an applicant's exhibit now,
Correct,
is
it's
that
a
correct?
amended
Let me
exhibit.
mark.
Okay, thank you.
Hold on.
So marked.
Give me 1 second to mark it.
Today's the 23rd.
Foot, 5 foot.
Do that in crayon.
Then you have to, all of this should be 4 foot and the rest.
So I will make it let the record reflect.
This, that was probably a year ago, similar situation, it was a bulkhead.
Never didn't do it. Let's single them out for persecution. I don't. Keep it up. What do we make it, 5 feet? The entire bulkhead. How about 10 feet? I like that.
Drans, I don't want to have gone.
I don't think we've done that very often. I don't.
Do you care? Do you care?
Not at all.
Okay, so then we can eliminate the wraparound if you guys feel strongly about it. It doesn't matter.
Leave it as a wraparound?
No, I said we can eliminate the wraparound if you guys feel strongly about it.
I would
I'll just
strongly
make the motion.
suggest
I'll just
we
make the
eliminate
motion.
it,
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
if anybody cares.
But they said
for
they
my
don't want to
opinion.
eliminate it now.
Make what, the wraparound?
Yes. This is English.
Yes.
So you're the only one that wants the wraparound.
Not
I know,
anymore.
so I said
She's
I can
decided
strongly,
to form
I
a
can
line.
eliminate the wraparound if you guys want, and then you said
Victoria,
no.
could you please make a motion?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do.
Let's end this.
You do it, okay, you finish.
Yeah, you do.
Yes. So, with regard to cases 525 through 529, I would move that we grant them as requested. I just want to make sure, with the usual pool conditions, the usual fence conditions, and the usual generator air conditioning unit and generator conditions.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
But it's gonna be also temporary for the fence conditions, right?
No,
Yes.
no, they are
No,
part
no,
of the
no.
pool. They
Oh,
will,
no.
by definition, will be with the pool.
And how about
They're married.
how about an open pergola all the time, no enclosures?
Does a definition of a pergola?
It's an open area.
It's open.
We
Yeah.
can put it as a condition.
You can put it.
It's redundant, not necessary.
Does anyone want to second
We
the
had
motion?
that discussion. Second? Anybody second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Next case, 530
Here's the
through...
marked exhibit.
Next case is 530 through 532 of 23, Doreen McLarney. That's the 60.8% rear yard coverage.
Yeah, that is.
And the removal of the barbecue coverage.
Improve it with the wraparounds.
I thought it was 60.8,
No,
but
60.8 is the rear yard,
Let's-
65
yeah.
is the whole.
let's not quibble over a couple
Okay,
of...
one thing is, I have a
square
note
feet.
here, no enclosing the patio roof. Joe mentioned that, Richard.
And he's got to remove the barbecue cover,
I think this one goes.
what he referred to
Chris,
as a
I think that's
barbecue
that,
cover.
too.
Joe, you want to make that motion?
Which one? McLaurin?
530, and there's no enclosing the patio roof area, and remove the barbecue, quote, barbecue cover. end quote. This is a huge, huge lot of occupancy.
I move that case 530, 523, 2023, Oceanside Doreen McLarney, that they don't enclose the patio, and they remove, as a condition, and that they remove the barbecue cover as a
Within 30 days of
with-
picking up the permit.
That's a
maybe.
good idea. Yes, within 30 days after securing a building permit, period. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention? 533 and 534, I would like...
I'll look at that, too.
I will as well. Yep.
Why don't you go together?
No, we don't do
Yeah,
that
the
anymore.
thing
You
about
know?
that is it was
What
relatively
happened?
de minimis.
She's a germ.
Mr. Bowman,
She's
can
a
you
germ.
put a note on that case that if we,
Which one?
533 and 534, just for when they're done inspecting, if we are inclined to grant it, I feel like we should not allow them to convert the garages to living space as a condition. Because they don't have, there was street parking issues, and
Why would you say that in advance if they're coming here to convert garage to living space?
because I'd like to make it a condition of the grant, so they won't do that.
Okay.
I get what you're
Whatever
saying.
keeps you happy,
No,
Katora.
I know you can make the prior constraint argument, but
Okay? Well, in any event, we're going to inspect that. Cases 471 and 472 of 2023, Helene and Gavin Power, that's in Belmore. Do I have any discussion from any of the board members or any questions?
I move cases 471 and 472 of 2023, location 2311 Center Avenue, Belmore, be granted as requested.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? And finally, cases 475 and 476 of 2023. Do I have any discussion from any of the board members? And if
Got it,
not,
Kim.
do I have a motion?
I move case 475 to 476 of 23 near Westbury, 2 Melody Lane, custody of St. Paul's Mother Daughter.
Second?
Aye.
All in favor? Any opposed, any abstentions? Let's go to the reserved calendar.
All right, on the first case, the Starbucks case, Bill reached out to us. Apparently, their engineers are close. I believe actually Pat was down there recently, and they were like, there's like actual people on, on the lot, like measuring
Yeah, they're
portions in order to make it so that there'd be better flow of traffic. Apparently, it's a whole project.
Okay, go to 27, anything else on page 1?
Looks like we're waiting for stuff from everyone.
So, case 274, I just spoke with Ms. Pengallo. She's actually going to be drawing the plans herself. Originally, they had
Is that the house of 7 doors?
Yes. So originally, they had a different architect that was working on, she was just presenting.
It wasn't really a drawing problem, it was a doors problem.
Right. So we want a new plans to show all the doors, and she's going to be doing that, so.
Sounds like a novel.
It was like
House of
The
Seven
house of
Doors.
7 doors. 7 gables.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
No, I have nothing else.
Yeah, nothing yet on Lebowski. Page 2, does the board want to make any determination on 300 through 302?
I can't make a motion, but I'd like somebody.
You said you had a motion.
Anybody have
Yes.
a motion on that, Kate?
The variances lot area, front yard average setback, side yards aggregate, construct 2-story dwelling. That's okay.
That's case 300.
Okay, you can separate, that's
Well, I'm
easy.
just
Yeah, no,
trying
it's,
to follow you.
I have a hard time. The use variance, the height should be denied for the garage and make it which would then make it a 1-story or typical garage, not a 2-story garage.
How about the side yard setback and lot area occupied variance?
That was okay,
That was
I
okay.
thought.
Variances, lot area
Okay.
occupied.
Variances, lot area occupied,
Outside shower
the,
to the garage.
it's a detached shower, what they shown. I think it should be an attached, they can have the garage, have the shower attached to the house.
Yeah.
Not the garage, with no plumbing in the garage.
I agree with that.
Okay. So,
So,
it's basically 300 is, you're moving to grant 300? You're
yes.
moving to, let's
deny
see.
301.
Well, I think 301, he's granting in part and denying in part.
Yes,
And then 302, you're granting in part and denying in part.
correct.
Because you're granting it lot area occupied side yard, and you're kind of construct outside shower, but you
No,
want it attached
no.
to the
Not
house.
on the garage.
With the
Right.
condition, no, so electrical in the garage, no plumbing in the
No
garage,
plumbing,
no
right.
heat in the garage.
Yes,
Because that's a detached garage, right?
correct.
It is.
And it's already in the front yard setback because it's street to street. I looked at it too,
Street
but.
In a 1-story garage.
Yep, that's the denial of part of 301 is the 2-story and the height of the garage.
Do I have a second on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Near Valley Stream, I guess there's nothing on 358. What happened on 462, anything?
Yes, so I spoke with Christian Brown about this. He spoke with his client and said that they don't want to install the attached garage to the dwelling because they don't believe it would be sufficient amount of living space. However, Christian said he will extend the parking pad to accommodate 3 cars instead of 2 cars off-street. And once again, the board has the jurisdiction to do whatever they prefer, but that's the conversation I have with Christian.
I did look at this, and I thought it lends itself to a subdivision. I think it's a decent application on the fact.
Would you
I
like to
agree.
make a motion?
I would ask that we flip the yards. It's a 10-foot, make the 10-foot to the abutting neighbors rather than, it's a 10 and a 5.
Yeah, so we want
Put the- put-
5 feet between 2 subdivided parcels that are close to each other,
Yeah.
and larger setbacks from the outside.
Yes.
Right.
And other than that,
I
and then-
agree with that, I went to see it myself.
Yeah, that neighborhood is, they're all that way.
Got it.
And I think it would be an improvement.
Yeah.
And I think he should also put that double parking pad as he proposed.
3 cars, 3
So
cars.
I will
Triple.
submit the amended site plan with that, with the changes for that. I mean,
Well,
we
I
can
don't-
grant it, but we need to get that in the file for later.
He's going to have to present it to the building department.
Yeah, and we'll get it off our department and send it upstairs with that
I just
condition.
want the file to show what we approved at the end of the day. so
Yes,
that-
the eminent councils will articulate
Okay,
that.
make your motion then, I guess.
So I move that case 462 and 463 be granted that the yards on them have shifted so that they're closer to each other, and the large parking pads to accommodate the 3 cars. And then in addition to that, the usual subdivision cases.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed, any abstentions?
Cassidy's Restaurant and Bar. After I spoke with Mr. Nierebecki, I also spoke with Mr. Mark Anthony Monastery. His understanding of how the parking spaces adjacent to the strip malls is that, similar to Mr. Nierebecki, what he said was there has to be a 5-foot setback for the ingress and egress of the building for the purposes of the American with Disabilities Act. He was not under the impression, or at least he told me, that there has to be a 5-foot or a barrier between the front of the brick and mortar and the parking space.
Right, but I think Joe's concern was that the cars are pulling up ultimately right next to the building.
Correct.
And what if someone
Touch
gets
the
out of there
building.
after throwing back a few and hits the gas instead of the brake?
But that's a concern. All I'm saying is that it's not required pursuant to code. It doesn't mean that we can't impose a condition in order to either create some sort of setback to the
I
extent we
think
can
it's a good
maintain it,
idea.
as well as, and Mark Anthony said he has no issue putting in bollards if the board would be, if the board would prefer that.
But the issue that you're suggesting is, if we put the ballards in, set 5 feet away from, so wait, we only have to leave 5 feet at the actual entrance,
At the
not
actual
across.
doorway.
So we could put the ballards in up almost against the wall there. We just wouldn't have, but that's okay, 'cause no one's parking in the middle anyway.
Would the car stick out, though? Is that?
The
No,
cars-
and not if we put them all the way up. They
Yes.
won't.
That they would still have to back up. Let me ask a silly question. When I leave the bar or pull into the bar, I'm going to have to walk into the parking lot behind vehicles. That's a safety issue.
That you do
Most-
that at every Target,
No, every Target.
yeah. With my kids all my life, I'm so worried because they're walking down, all the cars are.
Joe, I agree with everything you're saying. All I'm saying is that there is no code requirement for that. That doesn't mean that we have a
Okay.
logical nexus to create conditions in order to ensure the safety that you're concerned about.
But if we put the ballards like snugged up against the wall, just there, I mean, I don't want to make a huge problem for this guy, but I do think there's a legitimate safety issue. But if the ballards are all the way up against the wall, Kim's raised the issue, is, I don't know what the depth of the parking spaces are. She's saying, then the cars are going to stick out in the road. I don't know how
Yeah,
much
they
space.
are.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
If you put the ballards next to the building, the engine will encroach into the building. If you're going to pull up, because the engine protrudes invariably over the ballards. So how are you going to put the ballards
No,
next
that's
to the
curbs.
building?
He means ballards, like those
poles,
steel poles.
not the ones that are on like the floor,
Oh, okay.
like the actual poles that stick up.
Oh, all right.
You know, like a 3-foot pole or something.
Well, how many feet does the ballard take?
I gotta believe it's got a 6-inch diameter or something.
Probably about, I've seen them. They'd probably be about, 6-inch diameter, I would say. Around
I mean,
that.
I don't know if it's cost prohibitive.
According to Mr. Monastery, he would be amenable to installing the ballards.
And by the way, we would
So-
only actually need to put one, basically, in the middle of each parking spot. We don't have to put them like a bunch of them, right? How many parking spots?
There's a New York State specification for that. It's supposed to be, I think, 1 per every 6.5 feet to cover the vehicles.
Oh, in case someone isn't
They're-
using the
they-
lines.
No, I understand.
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think they speak with forked tongue.
Well,
Who cares? Let's
As a
just
practi-
let's just do what we think's right.
yeah, exactly. Ultimately, like,
Zonement.
what solution do we want to ultimately come to? Are we have a problem with the parking as a whole and don't want them to have any sort of park?
Well, I don't think, I
Similar
think
to-
that's
wait, wait,
burdensome for the
Isn't
business.
this similar to another case, Joe?
Yeah, the one in.
The JGAP case.
Seaford.
Yes.
Yeah.
What we did with that was, we didn't like the spaces on the side of the building that backed up straight into the residential, so
Wait,
we,
isn't this the same thing?
the problem with
Like,
this one
literally
is,
pulling up right against the wall, but
we have a
the
problem
person
with
on the other
basically
side.
all of the parking spaces, not just the parking on
Right.
one side. That one, the parking on the major street, I forget which one, Belmore Ave.
Merrick
It was one of those, yeah.
Merrick Road.
We were okay with that, but not the side into the side street. This one, we have a problem with it going onto the main street of, it has it there, Newbridge Road.
Right.
So we basically, we have a problem with all of the parking on this one.
It's a corner too.
Well, we can't put this establishment out of business either, I feel.
Right.
Well, how can we
Maybe they could
work
come up
with the
with,
business community? Well, he said he's willing to put
Bollards.
some ballards. And I think if we put one, If it's every 6 feet, fine, but its parking spaces are, 9 by 18, so every 6 feet wouldn't even be every parking space. Oh, thank you, honey. You like me now? No. You still don't like me?
That's, yes.
You mean change the parking?
Angled parking.
That would eliminate the need for the
So
ballards.
do we want to basically contact Mark Anthony
Kind
and provide a different parking space analysis where
Ask
they're
him
slanted?
ask him what his opinion is as a registered architect and the applicant here to angled parking, if that would eliminate our safety concerns.
And I guess the alternate, the flip side of that is we'd have to be okay with lesser spaces then.
Yeah, we would. But wait, what is, you're talking about the parking concern about someone pulling into the business. She's talking about the parking concern of the cars sticking onto the road.
Right.
So which,
We're the same.
that would, I agree that, I think that would at least reduce the risk of people slamming through.
Yes.
And it would certainly make.
Yes.
So if that means, that can't take more than one spot away, right?
Whatever it
I haven't
is.
seen, is the pull-in lend itself to being able to get the cars that way after you pull in?
I don't think so, because it's a drop curb that comes off Newbridge.
He'll design that.
Yeah. So we'll contact Mark Anthony and say, give us a new site plan with angled parking. We know it's going to remove some spaces, but we think this is better for safety even if you have less spaces.
What do you think, Mr. Vogel?
I mean, I think that's, if you're concerned about safety, I think that's the best solution. As long as the board is okay with them having lesser spaces, and we believe that those spaces can supply the demand, if safety's the major concern, I'd rather have the safety element than the number of spaces.
100%.
And I think Mark Anthony did say it is local, a lot of people walk there.
He did say that. Yes.
Well, he walks there. It's a local.
He isn't, that's not his kind of place.
I don't know the place.
They'd have to be able to remove it.
Yeah.
As for 264-77 property in Elmont, I did provide the board with the draft decision at the last hearing, but I think they didn't have time to review it. I have more copies of the decision now. Generally, I believe Mr. Pellegrini was the last one who made comments on this, including the flag, the board signs and everything
Yes.
that has been included. We've removed the space in the clear site triangle, designated as space 16 and 17, Exhibit 1, so it's going to be 2 less spaces for displaying vehicles, which have been reflected in the decision. I'm not sure if there's any other comments the board would have.
The number of vehicles?
Yes.
Wasn't it 18 or something?
Well, technically, it's only going to be 16 now because we're removing 2 spaces for the clear site triangle. So only 16 spaces are permitted, and there's 8 spaces to the rear of the parcel, which must only be used for customer parking. Employees are going to be directed to park at the other, I think it's, Avis, I think it is. But I can't put a condition that requires that Avis provide that parking because it's not.
Now, did you also include, I apologize that I don't know, these places, what they always end up parking their cars for sale, cars for repair on the streets? Did we preclude that?
Employees shall be directed not to park on Evans Avenue.
No, not that, like
Oh.
like
Oh.
all the auto bodies do it. They like literally take the sidewalk and the street parking on Austin Boulevard, for example, and you can see they got the tags in the cars.
Okay, so I'll expand condition
They
6 to
cannot
say,
Store, display,
Evans shall not park,
they can't store,
store,
display.
it's not going to be employees, it's going to be,
Well, the employee thing is fine for
Yeah.
whatever you said, they should also go elsewhere, but as it really, because what they'll do is they'll park 8 more cars for sale in every piece of street parking and on the sidewalk, so they can't do it, they can't use, public street parking for the sale or storage of vehicles.
so the applicant
That's a big problem down where I am.
and its agents
It's all over the used car lots.
shall
Street and or sidewalk.
permitted
Sidewalk.
to
washing.
store,
I don't actually care if they
Display.
wash their
Washing.
hose,
etc.
They should strike the
as long as
lot.
they're not running a car wash business there.
Strike the lot and put bollards in the clear site triangle
Public roads and sidewalks.
to prevent them from parking in the clear site triangle.
Okay, yeah, so I'll add a condition. So basically, applicant, its agents, and/or employees. So that should, I think that
That'll
encompasses.
work.
Yeah, applicants, agents, and/or its employees shall not be permitted to store, display, et cetera. I'll include all that language. Vehicles on public roads or sidewalks, and/or sidewalks.
Yeah, they just simply shall not
Did-
Yeah.
store or park, store, or
Yeah,
otherwise
park, store, display.
display their, vehicles.
What about the striping of the lot? Did we decide that?
I think I have the striping language we usually Yeah, parking lot shall be blacktop, paved, striped, and shall have proper drainage, and shall be maintained in good condition. The driveway shall be constructed in accordance with all requirements and
You want to,
specifications.
and did you do a cross out in the clear side triangle part?
Yes, so,
Excellent.
no vehicle
No
shall be
problem.
displayed stored in the clear
Hatch.
side triangle of
Right.
Evans, on exhibit 1, yeah, I already have
You
that.
might want to define which is clear side triangle, because it's all over the map. You might want to say for, 4 square feet or something.
Yeah, so clear side triangle of Evans Avenue and Hempstead Turnpike. It would be 8 feet by 8 feet as defined by the BZO, but I also have
There's a whole
spaces.
other thing that has a 20-foot language
Yeah,
clear side.
but spaces 16 and 17 as indicated pursuant to exhibit 1 at this time, and then I actually put a footnote explaining the needs and bounds.
Well done, Spanky.
So I guess adopt as amended.
Why don't you adopt it?
No, I don't know. What do you think?
Case 264, do you want me to look at it, and you can just give me a copy of this?
260.
I just need Casey.
Top of page 3.
264.
Oh, and a seeker on this as well.
God.
Do the second.
Oh, God. I move that case 264, that the board adopt a negative declaration on the secret.
Second.
Aye.
I further move that case number 264 be granted as per the draft provided by Mr. Bogle. And do we want to do this for 5 years as a used car lot? I don't know that this is in here.
I don't know.
We had that before, but depending on the
I would do that.
So I would move that we adopt the draft decision with the addition of a temporary grant for a period of 5 years.
With all the usual conditions applicable to cars.
Yes,
sale,
it was
And display of used automobiles.
it was enumerated in the draft
Okay,
decision.
good. Second.
And adopt.
Aye. Yes, sir.
Okay, any movement on 485 to 488?
485.
Oh,
Here, Rob, you need this back. That's a tough case.
Which one is it?
There's a lot, there's a, really?
Well, can we get an updated, do we have a mechanism by which we can reach out for a police report and tell the police department we're considering a matter that involves that intersection or something like that, and see if they can just give us, like, the last year's events so we can get an idea? I mean,
Does anyone, I'm sorry, go ahead. Does anyone recall the Nassau County Planning Commission recommendation? It's a disapproval.
No.
But they usually give
I
their
don't
reasons
recall it.
why.
I have it.
We'll have to pull it when we get, but I think that, at least for myself, it would be relevant to me and material to considering, given that what we're being asked to consider does involve the ingress and egress, that it would be relevant to consider what has happened there, safety-wise
Well
over the
done,
last
thank
year.
you.
Oh, thank you. How did someone know to have these copies printed? Good job. Listen, the day you can predict what we do, the day is going to be sad, because we are crazy.
We have like the day before we sit here and go, what could they possibly ask me? And if you look at the bottom of the cart, that's everything that we thought.
No way.
Yeah, that's
That is
the bottom.
so not negligent of you.
That's
That is
what the bottom
very,
of the cart is.
very well done.
This doesn't really, did you guys read this? This doesn't really help.
if I go there and look at it, I'm not gonna see the proposed road, right? So I need the site plan.
Yeah, they're supposed to maintain a 30-foot road. Okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
site plan and radius map, so I can go and try to, visualize the proposal versus.
Okay.
It would be 4 per
Ms. Perry, anything on 434?
I did inspect that, and that is fine.
Okay.
So I will make a motion that we approve case
4 of 23 Franklin Square, Joseph and Martha Gilvara.
I don't think so.
62 Washington Street as requested with the normal two-family conditions.
Okay.
What? Yes. Yes.
One family to a two-family?
Correct.
Okay. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions?
Concerning case 493 of 23 in Point Lookout, Joseph Bronca, 81 Cedarhurst, we did receive a letter from Mr. McKevitt with an amended site plan. I know the largest concern has to do with that top floor. As it currently was proposed, they wanted to put a bathroom on the top floor. He has now amended that site plan to have it, where is it here? So yeah, we're on last page.
493.
Next page. Yeah. And we're right here. Yeah, we have an amended site plan to change it where it is only a roof deck and storage and mechanicals. They removed the bathroom proposed. So if you want to take a look at that, it's right there. Yeah, because this is the number of stories here. As it was currently proposed, it was, elevate. I don't know if
Yeah,
he's,
but if it's in FEMA, that means they actually want 4 levels, right?
I don't know if we had the, unfortunately, we did not predict. Unfortunately, we did not predict this one.
Elevator.
First, second,
But there's living space on the first floor.
right, so this, what's on that? Wait,
No, I get it.
so they're not doing a 50, okay, I'm pretty confident they're probably in FEMA zone, let me see, where are they?
It's- it-
That's what I'm getting at.
But if it's,
Because here's the concern, what if we grant this 3-story, which even though we recharacterize it, and then they decide, oh, let's put it at FEMA level. Get it? We don't have the file here.
but this is
you
a,
have the elevation?
I don't have the elevations. I unfortunately didn't bring that forward.
this is a brand-new house. It's a brand-new house, so they're not gonna lift it. It'll have to be built in accordance with FEMA if it's,
No, that's why I'm confused, how come they are
They
using?
have living space
Well,
on
the-
the grade floor.
We gotta pull it.
it doesn't, not necessarily. He's calling it first floor, could be the first livable floor.
That's what I'm saying.
But I mean,
Yeah.
how does the
Exactly what-
parking, I guess, go down there, I guess?
Well, that's exactly, we have to pull, I'll walk, we gotta pull it.
Hold it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Do we get anything on Marina?
Anything on
Yeah, we
500,
need the
501?
plans on that one.
Yeah, that's all that we have, and what you guys expected the last one.
Cars are outside.
Oh, right, oh, sorry, yeah.
Which one?
Case 512,
Needs it.
that was a case that we voted on prior to having the NCPC determination, and we didn't have a supermajority. The NCPC recommended modification on the daycare because they did not have, at least according to the NCPC, a coherent plan for pickup and drop-off. If the board recalls, they actually reserved 4 spaces to the rear of it by the municipal parking lot for the pickup and drop-off of children, just when the the applicant proposed that.
They, proposed that, they
Yeah.
said they reserved them in the municipal lot, so I thought, did the town give them a?
No, they actually have their own spaces, it's just adjacent to the municipal lot, it's not on the street. The NCPC, because all they get is the plans, and there's no testimony, they didn't know that that was the plan that was provided by the applicant. So, yeah.
I'm looking for the case,
It's the last one.
last 512.
Well, until Joe, have you read up on it, Joe?
I watched the testimony.
Okay, so do you have a motion?
I wanted to look at it, and I did not look at it.
We can keep it on reserve until then.
Yeah, hold it.
The problem here, why
The problem was we
Yeah,
had a vote, it was only a 4-person vote prior to the NCPC determination.
What was our vote?
Vote was yes, 4, 1 absent, because the NCPC recommended modification. In order to overturn that, we need a supermajority.
I now
Oh,
have 5.
this is that daycare that at the end of that big.
Correct.
It's all meant.
Yeah, that was okay.
So that's a good
Yeah,
area.
no.
Yeah, no, it was, the board members was very amenable to the applicant.
What did I do?
I'm glad you characterized
you.
it that way.
I'm not looking at myself, I'm just saying I was funny.
I do, getting recollection of the testimony, I'm not opposed to it, I would move that the case be granted. I did watch the testimony, it's in its entirety, and I feel based upon that I can participate in the case.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You've been overruled again, Chairman. Another one.
Unanimous by those in attendance.
What happened with these others?
The board, did anyone inspect the 464 on page 4, East Atlantic Beach? That was the one where they wanted to move the location of the house with the setbacks. A lot of people came out. Yeah, they also said, like, says construction happening across the street, can they wait 6 months? Okay, no problem, we'll hold that.
Yeah, I remember that.
A little ridiculous.
Did I take the paper? I must have taken the papers for it that day.
I'll give you the papers for,
Okay, so I need the elevations for that point lookout case.
the elevation, we'll look at it in Malvern.
And the
It looked
Malvern
like
papers.
there was electricity in
and
it,
my
and in the garage.
And Atlantic Beach.
We have one application for an extension of time. It is case number 292 of 2021. It is Garafalia Daphnos.
Is it timely?
Yes.
How many prior,
This is the first time on.
and was it to do what? Pick up permits or what?
It's to complete construction. Construction is ongoing.
Do they have
Photos are
pictures?
attached. And the reasoning is apparently COVID and unforeseen delays in construction.
COVID. This is COVID.
Yeah.
Use it when you can.
Mike is on.
Mine is.
the Herald. Well, what if we have to? If it's going to be on a public hearing, we have to put the notice to the state code. We don't do it during the BZO, we have to do it for the state. Yeah. Right, exactly, in the newspaper. That we can't waive no matter what. We can for BZO. You know, we have to.
Okay, so is that?
Okay, this is a rehearing request. Off the record. This is a request for a rehearing. This case is 138 of 2020. They were granted everything as requested. The house burned down, and the time for them to get the permit has expired. They're requesting a rehearing to obtain the same relief that was previously granted in the previous case.
Where is it?
This is located 310 Green Tree Drive, Oceanside, New York. Daniel and Garrett Guttenberg.
Wait, that's the guy, the house burned down, and that's when he came in to get the relief first, right?
Yeah, because we were forced to demolish.
I remember this.
Yeah, they had to demolish it and rebuild, make it FEMA compliant.
They ran out of time to do that.
Correct.
Oh, poor guy.
Can we grant an extension of time to do this? That letter, treat that letter as an extension of time request.
And granted, what's the case number?
Case number 138 of 2020.
Did he pay a fee to rehearing?
Fee for the rehearing 250.
And what's the fee for an extension
Extension of time,
So-
at this point, we're 500.
But he gets his 250 back, right?
No.
Because we're not going to give him a rehearing.
Technically needs to pay another 250 for an extension.
Okay, no. So I move that case 138 of 2020, affecting the property at 310 Green something in Oceanside, Green Tree Drive in Oceanside, that the board grant an additional one-year period during which the applicant can secure the permits to begin construction on the new residence that will replace the residence that was burned down and previously granted the identical variances.
Due to COVID, he delayed his construction.
And that we treat the letter requesting a new hearing as simply, we convert it to a request for an extension of time and we grant it.
Second.
Aye.
Oh, I thought John, wait for you.
This was a little interesting, and there's multiple, I'm sorry, this is the last one I have. A property that we granted a place of public assembly permit back in 1982. In it, they needed to provide parking spaces for an occupancy of 80 persons. We granted it back in 1983. In it, we said the occupancy shall be capped at 40 persons. Now, they've been operating at 80 persons for the past 3 decades. This is a restaurant. They had, new purchasers got this property about 3 years ago under the impression that 80 persons was the occupancy. The fire marshal says it's 80 persons. The building department enforced it at 80 persons. However, the decision from 1983 was 40 persons. That has never changed since that decision, even though all of the bureaucratic agencies have been enforcing it at 80. This is a modification request to maintain the current grant at 80 persons. The tricky part about this is, even though we set the occupancy at 40 persons, the relief granted for the variances had to be based on the calculations for 80 people. So even if we limited the number of people that were actually permitted in the structure at 40, the variance relief we were granted is still for 80 persons. You kind of get where I'm getting from?
So he's got the proper parking variance in place, we just need to remove that restriction.
Right. That's what the modification request is for. that's what you would
Will we,
propose.
Park,
I'd
Patrick,
recommend-
what date, who knows what day we have space?
Where's the case number here?
Second page.
Wow, that's what we have.
Case 714 of 1980.
Fellow members, I move that case number 714 of 1984, it's at 763 Hempstead Turnpike, Franklin Square, that the case be reopened to consider a clarification of the occupancy, and I believe it might be also case number 439 of 1985, that the board also consider a change, request a change, and that they set a calendar, a public hearing of October 18th at 2 p.m.
Patrick, anything else? Everything I do have more than about.
It is, what? I move that the board stand adjourned to September 13th and enjoy their Labor Day.
Everyone, we're not seeing, aye.
Aye.
We're not seeing John until post-pro.